Jack Dromey says the company could have stayed in Birmingham, but they've chosen to move.
They've never put up an argument. They've always said that they wanted to stay if they could. 18 months ago, I worked with the council, with government, to carve out an alternative option for them. They could have stayed in Birmingham if they'd have wanted to.
More than a year after they were all switched off to save money, plans have been announced that could mean fixed-speed cameras are switched back on in Birmingham. New technology now makes them cheaper to run, and West Midlands Police has revealed that it'll be running a trial in parts of the city and in Solihull in the autumn. The golfer Phil Mickelson is being investigated in the United States for possible insider trading. The FBI is said to be looking into his trades into two companies, including one that was the subject of a takeover attempt by a billionaire investor. Michael Rothfield is from the Wall Street Journal, which broke the story.
We learned today that the FBI approached Mr. Mickelson yesterday. He's playing in a golf tournament in Ohio, and after he was finished with his round for the day, two FBI agents came up to him and told him they wanted to talk to him in connection with this investigation.
A portrait of Burntwood teenager Stephen Sutton is being auctioned today. It was one of the things on his bucket list, and money raised from the sale will go to the Teenage Cancer Trust. Stephen raised more than £4 million for them. It's by Kevin Okafor, whose photorealistic pictures have won prizes. A mostly dry and rather cloudy day today, but there will be some sunshine and isolated showers are possible in the afternoon. The top temperature this afternoon, 19 Celsius, 66 Fahrenheit. Mostly dry tonight with some fog in places and an overnight low of 7 Celsius, 45 Fahrenheit. BBC WM 95.6 News. There's more online at bbc.co.uk/WM.
The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
You should take in other religions and treat them as you would want to be treated yourself.
We are even more intelligent. They treated me with the utmost respect.
Iain Lee, Saturdays
9 till 12.
Yes. BBC WM 95.6.
Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC WM 95.6. You know that. You've tuned into us for the reason of listening. Lots coming up on the show this morning. Now, coming up later, I don't want to sound all Clarkson, because I don't get the Clarkson just, being sexist and offensive just for the sake of it. I don't get that. But I genuinely think this. Women enjoy housework. They do. The majority of them. Not all of them. There'll be exceptions, and those, they probably work in the media. But, all kind of lefty and right on. But I genuinely think the majority of women enjoy doing the housework. Please don't think I'm being a horrible sexist pig. I'm not. If you're a woman, you'll know if you are, because of the underwear you wear. If you're a woman, just have a think about it. You do quite enjoy the ironing, don't you? It takes you, it's like a Zen meditation. You do enjoy a little bit of dusting. I think it's a genetic thing. We'll discuss that later on. 03453 009956. Before that, though, man alive, I was caught up in, it was a terrifying yet exciting road rage incident in that there London this week. I want to know, there's lots of different issues on this. First of all, I want to know road rage incidents you've been in. Maybe you've been the perpetrator, or maybe you've been the victim. What happened to you? And on the front page of The Sun, there's an incredible picture. Where is it? That's the Star. There's an incredible picture of a woman driving up a motorway, 70 miles an hour, we're led to believe. She's reading a book. There was a French truck driver in the week who was caught using Skype. What ridiculous, bad driving things have you seen? 03453 009956.
Have your say.
Across the West Midlands, call
03453
009956.
BBC WM 95.6.
So, the road rage incident, it was in that there London where people are not particularly well known for their polite manners. You tend not to get that well-mannered driving in London. Although I know it's not exclusive to London. I had a gentleman the other day flashing me in Birmingham. Say flashing me, he was flashing the lights of his car, unfortunately. There could have been Anyway, so we're at Marble Arch Roundabout. It's a huge roundabout in London, okay, just at the edge of Hyde Park. And there are traffic lights. And the traffic lights change to green. The fella behind me starts beeping, flashing, flicking the V's, all because it took me a second and a half to pull away. Now, I know that time is money and time is precious. We don't have much of it. We have to make the most of every second we've got. But he was going bonkers. It was literally a second and a half. It wasn't that I wasn't even paying attention. It took me that long for my reactions to kick in and for me to start moving away. Now, in the olden days, I would have retaliated, shall we say. I used to be a lot angrier than I am now. I would have retaliated with all kinds of rude hand gestures. I've learnt what winds people up now. I've learnt that sticking your fingers up, that doesn't get you anywhere. What you need to do is you need to smile and wave. So I was waving at him behind me and giving him the thumbs up. And then we're going around this big roundabout. I was heading off to Victoria. Heaven knows where he was heading. And then he pulls up beside me. And he's very angry, and he's shouting at me, and he's all of this kind of stuff. So I wound down my window. And you could see his face going, oh, yes, we're going to have a fight. We've got this now. And he wound down his window. I said, hello, can I have your phone number? He went, what? Do you want to swap phone numbers and we could text each other? What are you talking about? I said, do you want to go for a coffee? I'll buy you a coffee. Should we go and have a coffee? He went nuts. Effing this, seeing that, all of this kind of stuff, just swearing at me. And then he did the thing. We stopped in traffic. I stopped in traffic, and he stopped beside me and made the motion to open his car and get out and have a fight. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to get out in the middle of a central London roundabout and have a fight with a lunatic. I asked him for a coffee. He used some very bad language and drove off. I had someone throw a dice at me once. Is it a die or a dice? I can never remember the singular and the plural. Someone threw a dice at me once. 03453 009956. There are kind of two aspects to this. I want your road rage stories, OK? What has happened to you? How angry have other drivers got? And it's interesting, isn't it? Because you wouldn't do that if you were walking down the street. If someone kind of stopped in front of you, at best, you'd tut and then kind of walk around them. But you wouldn't just walk beside them, shouting and flicking the V's. You flipping idiot! You wouldn't do that. It's because you're in your car that you feel a little bit safer, isn't it? So your road rage incidents, if you are a road rager, I'd love to talk to you. 03453 009956. And also, going with this thing that's on the front page of The Sun, the woman reading the book, it's an incredible picture. A driver zooms down the M1 at 70 miles per hour while reading a book. She held the novel at the wheel for 10 miles, sitting in the middle lane. The woman was snapped on a mobile phone by builder Andrew Stonham, a passenger in a van. What awful examples of driving have you seen? I have seen a driver using Skype. So they've got like their kind of tablet set up in front of them or their phone, and they've got having a video conversation with, I don't know, their wife. I couldn't really make it out. Awful examples of driving, please. 03453 009956. And women do enjoy doing the housework. Don't you, Caroline?
No, we do not.
Sorry?
We definitely do not.
What do you mean?
We love having a tidy house.
Right.
We love having a clean house.
Yes.
We love people being able to turn up at any time of the day, and you can let them into any room with confidence. The process, however, we do not like.
You take great... But OK, well, let's work backwards. So when your house is clean...
Yes.
You are prideful. You are full of pride.
Yes.
OK. So the process of getting on your hands and knees, steady, and dusting and polishing and cleaning under all the... That must bring you pleasure, because you know the end result is going to be pleasurable.
The pleasure doesn't come till you get off your knees and stand back and survey your work, and you can stand back and look with pride and say, aha, one down.
Are you an ironer, Caroline?
No.
Oh.
We have a lady.
You have a lady who irons for you? Why don't you do it yourself?
I haven't got time.
Well, I think you should. I think, Caroline, if you ironed, you would be able to create time, because it just slows everything down.
I used to iron.
Yeah.
I used to iron. I used to enjoy it, but time doesn't allow anymore.
Now, because I'm a bloke and I don't like ironing. I've only started ironing in the last 2 weeks. So I thought I should make a bit of an effort. I thought I should try and look a little bit smarter. So I've started ironing. But I can't do that thing that I know that women enjoy, where they have a big pile of ironing, and they stand in front of Coronation Street, and they'll do it all evening.
Oh, yes.
I can't do that. I'll do a shirt and a pair of trousers, and that's it.
You can only do that on certain days. For example, Tuesday, where you've got a good run of Soap Suds coming on.
Oh.
You've got a good couple of hours worth.
Yeah.
Then yes.
And do you know what I'm hearing in your voice?
That is a joy, but that's not housework.
Get in there! 1-0!
No, that is a joy, but that's not housework per se.
How could you say that ironing is not housework?
Because I'm going now.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. There you go. You see, fair play, Caroline. She had a go. She had a go at towing the line she's been brought up to believe. She had a go. Of course I don't like housework. Of course, I'm a modern woman. I'm independent. I'm as good as men. And I'm not in any way making a judgment. I'm not in any way making a judgment on who's... That's what she's arguing. That's what she's arguing. And I'm not... I've got producer Joe has gone bonkers in my ear. How do I switch this thing off? And I'm not saying you're not as good as men. What I'm saying is you have been brought up to believe that you shouldn't enjoy housework. You shouldn't enjoy it. But genetically, I think you're predisposed to enjoy it. I think you're predisposed to do it. 03453 009956 is the telephone number. And don't think this isn't one of those horrible Clarkson, women cook my dinner kind of rants. This is a genuine thing. This is a genuine thing that I've observed that makes perfect sense. And if you think about it, it's true. Okay, what we need. So I need some women to phone up who do enjoy housework. Let's get the ball rolling with that, because once some other sisters hear you saying that, I think they'll start to come out in their droves. 03453 009956 is the telephone number if you want to give me a call on that. You know it makes sense. You know it makes sense. And we all take pride in a clean house. OK, here's something, right? Some of you will be in a fortunate enough position that you will have employed a cleaner to clean your house. Man or woman? Go on, what is it, a man or woman? It's a woman, of course. It's a woman, of course, who's cleaning your house. Because A, they're better at it, and B, they get pleasure from it. Ladies and gentlemen, I rest my case. There are no male cleaners in houses. 03453 009956 is the telephone number. And I know you're reluctant to call in because you feel you're going to betray. You're worried you're going to sound like a sexist old fool. Don't be worried about that. Don't be worried. Don't fear about betraying the sisterhood. Get in touch with your feelings and admit it. The caller we just had then had to relent when the subject of ironing was brought up. Yes, she has an ironing lady, but really what she wants to do is on a Tuesday night watch soaps back to back and iron all the shirts and the blouses and the frocks. 03453 009956 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call on that. We're also talking about road rage. I was this incident in London. It was one of those ones where afterwards I was shaking a little bit because it was quite scary. But at the time I was enjoying... This man was so angry. There was spittle forming around the edge of his mouth. He was furious. Absolutely furious. What incidents of road rage have you seen and have you been involved in? 03453 009956. You can text 81333. Start your text WM, or if you wanted to, you could send me a cheeky little email, not too cheeky, Iain.lee, IAIN.LEE at bbc.co.uk. Right, it's 9:15, it's BBC WM 95.6. Let's get the travel news now. Here's Liz Saul.
Good morning, Ian. Thank you. As you head to Dudley Port, the A457 remains shut both ways. Emergency repairs being carried out on a water main. The A461 and Cletton Street is where that closure is in place, and that's likely to cause you some delays. There is a diversion for you to follow. In Dudley, Holly Hall Road remains shut both ways. Again, emergency repairs having to be carried out between Norfolk Road and Suffolk Road, with a local diversion for you there. It's going to add time onto your journey. Expect delays in Selly Oak on Tiverton Road. There's still restrictions because of sewer collapse there at the junction with Bristol Road. Better news on the M6 going south. An accident and debris have been cleared off the carriageway just before junction 10, the Wolverhampton and Walsall exit. And the accident's being cleared from Chasetown High Street at the junction with Hill Street near the Day Nursery. A vehicle went into a tree there. If you can update us, call BBC WM 95.6 Travel 08453 002288.
By the way, who would you like to see fired out of a cannon? Besides me, I don't think I'd fit in one. Pete Morgan's got no chance. Need to be a long cannon for Paul Franks. I'm not sure Goldie would fit in a cannon. He's put a bit of weight on old Goldie.
Danny Kelly.
Monday to Friday, 2 till 4. The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
BBC WM
95.6.
So, your road rage incidents, please. And also, we'll talk a little bit later on about the examples of bad driving you've seen. Have you ever seen a fella having a shave while he's driving his car? Not a wet shave, for goodness sakes, as Michelle was suggesting earlier. He's not got a bowl of soapy water on his lap. But I've seen blokes driving around and having a shave, and I've seen women doing the makeup. I've seen someone reading the newspaper before. So your examples of bad driving, if you would be so bold, please. And also your examples of road rage, where you've seen it. People get so angry. They get so angry. What is it about being in a car that makes us think that we can kind of get away with really aggressive behaviour? I have a friend. Friend is a very loose term. Let me rephrase that. I know somebody who used to have a piece of wood under his seat in his car. Just in case it kicked off. He'd have a piece of wood under his seat. 03453 009956. Give me a call. I want to hear your stories of road rage. Joined now by Jarvis Greenledge, who is a driving instructor. Morning, Jarvis. Jarvis? Oh, Jarvis has disappeared.
Hold on, mate.
You're right. Hello?
Morning.
Good morning. What are you up to? Are you not giving a lesson now, are you, Jarvis?
No, I'm at home.
Oh, OK, fantastic. Listen, you're a driving instructor. You must come across loads of road rage when you're taking people out and about.
Yes, you do. And the peculiar thing about it is the customers who got the road rage a lot of the times. Because some...
Jarvis, do me a favour. Turn your radio off, because it might make things a little bit confusing.
There's no radio on.
Who's that in the background then, having a chat?
That's a television.
Oh,
okay, I'll leave the room.
You leave the room. What are you watching? Anything good?
Just BBC News.
Yeah, beautiful.
Now, what was I going to say? The problem is sometimes you have to remind the customers, because things happen and it isn't necessarily their fault.
Yeah.
And they recognise it's not their fault. But their response sometimes is not in the manner which you want it to be. It says, well, look, you're not responsible for what the other person does. You have to be aware of what you're doing, how you're doing it, and just be confident that what you've done is correct and safe.
So hang on, these are the people that are learning to drive are losing their temper.
Yep.
And has that got worse in the last few years?
Yes.
Wow.
People have got that more. And I was saying I've been doing this job for 30 years.
Yeah.
And I even said to a customer on, I think it was Wednesday, Thursday night, we were going down here, this car was coming up. And normally you give way to the person coming up.
Yeah.
However, the person was driving so fast and so erratic that even if we didn't want to, we would have to. We had priority over them. And the young man said, oh, it's a young lady. And I said, well, I won't worry about it. He says, I've found before there was a distinct difference between how a woman would drive and how male drove. Now, there's no difference. If there's a difference, the women tend to go on the other side now, where they're almost so aggressive it's become dangerous. And it sounds a bit, I don't mean to be rude in saying this, but it's just an analysis from my experience of being on the road all day.
Do you think the women now are worse than the men when it comes to road rage?
They certainly don't have any different attitude.
Wow.
Majority of them. And, and it just, on the road, I think the problem we have is that in society, everything has to be done now.
Yeah.
And people want everything done now. And they don't see the need to give way, because it's inconvenient. Even though giving way will save them time and effort, they don't. So everybody wants to get to the end of the road immediately. And that's the way it is. But one of the things slightly on the same scope but slightly different, the same as the theory test. Someone will pass the theory test, and then 5 minutes later he says, what was on? I don't know. Because they don't read and learn things to maintain it as an education process. They learn it to pass an exam. Once they pass an exam, they dismiss with it. And they said, well, no, you can't do that, because you need to use what you've learned.
Jarvis, can I just say, I'm so pleased I'm an old man and I didn't have to do the theory test, because I would have been awful. Back in my day, we did a bit of driving, then we did some oral in the car at the end, and then the guy said, you've passed or you failed.
Yeah.
I'm glad we haven't got to sit down and do a written test.
There are two parts to it, but it can be useful because it's trying to help the pupils become a little bit more understanding of what's happening on the road, how a car works, and the rules of the road, and what is safe and what's unsafe. It's meant for that purpose, but it's not done in a classroom setting. You're given a DVD or CD-ROM, you go away and study it, and you pass the test. And even the ones who you want to support, they're not really interested because all they want is a license.
So, Jarvis, listen, so you've said that the people who are learning to drive lose their tempers, which I find quite incredible. The thing, whenever I see a learner driver, I'm always quite respectful. I never beat them, I never hurry them, I keep a bit of a distance. But I have seen people go right up their backsides, flash them, cut them up. Do you get examples of that?
That happens. When that happens, all I do, I say to the pupil, what I'll do, basically, depends who the pupil is, because some pupils will be intimidated.
Jarvis, are you doing the washing up?
No, I'm not doing the wash. I'm about to leave home. I just put something in the sink, but I'm not washing. I'm just talking to you. Your ears are very sensitive.
I can just hear this whole world going on behind you. It sounds fantastic.
No, what it is, I'm going to leave here for 9:30. Yeah. And I'm just tidying up before I leave. And I won't say, what if someone does that? What I'll do, I say to the pupil, just relax. And one of the things I shouldn't say this, what I get my customers to do, I get them to move just slightly to the right.
Yeah.
Not much. Yeah. Probably 6 inches.
Yeah.
And that means the person behind you ain't going to get past you.
Yeah. Oh.
And if you get closer, I just sit there now. Sometimes I'll beckon, come over the top if you think it'll help you, because the pupil is doing the best they can.
Yeah.
And try not for them to get intimidated. But again, it depends on who the customer is and their ability to cope, because some of them will lose it. I don't mean lose it angrily. They will lose control of the car because they don't feel sufficiently confident. And you're trying to say to them, look, just relax. We're in here. We're doing this together, so you don't have to worry about what they're doing. Just ignore it, because if you worry about what they're doing, it's going to affect what you're meant to be doing. So you concentrate on what you need to be doing and don't let what they're doing affect you. And more often than not, it will work. But generally speaking, the roads are not... The people on the roads aren't the most sensible. And one of the things I say to all my customers, predicting new ones, you're never going to find any more than one safe, sensible driver on the road at any one point in time. So when you're driving, remember that. For the rest of your life, there's never or should never be more than one sensible, safe driver on the road. Sometimes they say, what do you mean? I say, well, when you work it out, you'll understand. I don't explain to them what I mean by it, and don't ask me what I mean by it. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Jarvis, very zen, very may the force be with you. Thank you very much, Jarvis Greenlich. He's a driving instructor. Learners are getting a cob on now. Learners are indulging in the road rage. Really? I find that terrifying. Where is that coming from? Is that a shift in the culture then? He said it's because we want things now. We want things immediately. I remember when I was learning to drive, and again, I'm so glad I didn't have to do a written test. A written test. Back in my day, this is how old I am. Is it 17 you can learn to drive? I think it is. You'd have the driving test, and then you'd sit in the car park, and the fella would give you some oral. He'd show you some cards, and you'd go, well, that's no right turn, that's urban clearway, 70 miles an hour. Well done, you've passed. Or he wouldn't say that. He'd fill in the form for ages, and you'd be sitting there going, oh, God, what have I done? What have I done? Well done, Mr. Lee. You've passed your driving test. Yes. 03453 00 9956 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call on this. I've had other... Maybe it's me, because I have been involved in quite a few incidents of road rage. I have been... it may be me. I used to be an idiot... I patronise that guy. I've had a few incidents. I had a great one once with this fella. Now, did I cut him up? I don't think I necessarily cut him up. I just kind of, I saw a gap. I pulled out. He didn't think I had the right to pull out. He was an old fella. He was about 70 odd, right? And he undertook me, pulled up in front of me, stopped, got out of the car. Now, when someone starts to get out of the car, my trick is I lock the doors and I get my telephone and I hold it up to my ear and I pretend I'm calling the police. He got out of his car, came round to my window, banged on the window. So I wound it down ever so just like tiny, tiny little bit. If you flipping do that again, I'll flipping... Obviously, he didn't say flipping. He was using far more coarse language than that. Basically, this old man threatened to kill me. And it was so shocking and so outrageous, all I could do was sit there and laugh. I had to laugh at him because it was just the most ridiculous thing ever. It's quite terrifying, though. And it is quite terrifying when it happens. It's interesting what Jarvis was saying there. He's saying that women are just as bad as men now, in his opinion. I think I've only ever been shouted at by a woman driver once, I think. I can't... It's mainly men. It's mainly short, fat, bald men, if I'm completely blunt, who do it, who I would suggest are in their 50s, late 50s, early 60s. They seem to be the main offenders when it comes to that. Give me a call this morning, please, with your stories of road rage. 03453 009956. On the back of this story on the front of the Sun, doing 70 miles per hour down the M1, mad driver reading book. What examples of bad driving have you seen? We've all seen. If you're in your car now, have a look to your left and have a look to your right. You'll see someone on their mobile phones. There's always someone on their mobile phones. Hey, it's illegal. Duncan Bannatyne got done for it this week. But there's always someone using their mobile phones. I've seen someone using Skype. I've seen some, texting when they're driving. That is out of order. That is out of order. We've all seen women putting their makeup on, haven't we? Haven't we? And I've seen a bloke having a shave. What have you seen? 03453 009956. And the other thing I want to talk to you about this morning is, we're talking about housework. Can't quite remember how we got onto this. Oh, yes, because I ironed my shirt this week. Yeah, I know. I've kind of got into ironing a little bit. I can't do the full stack of clothes because I find that incredibly tedious, incredibly dull. I'll do, and I'm not very good at it. Why can't you buy starch anymore, guys? This is a serious point. You can't. Where can you get starch from? Not in any of the big supermarkets I've been to. There are a select few. If you starch a shirt as you're ironing it, it's a real satisfying thing. I can't find it. Anyway, a bit of spray starch. Anyway, so I'll iron a shirt the night before. I'm not one of those lunatics that irons handkerchiefs and pants, but I'll iron a shirt. And it kind of got me thinking, and I genuinely think this is true. This isn't me saying this to be, controversial or edgy or anything like that. I think that women are predisposed to not only be better at housework than men, but to enjoy it. They enjoy it. They actually enjoy it. Now, I know what you're thinking, women. Oh, the sexist pig. What an idiot. What an absolute plum. Why on earth is he saying this? But just think about it for a second, okay? And we had a caller earlier on who phoned up to complain. Eventually, I won her round to my way of thinking. Right? She enjoys the end results of the cleaning. Ipso facto, she must enjoy the cleaning because there is the sense of anticipation that what is going to come is good. She also enjoys the ironing. Her favourite thing is to have a big run of soap operas in the evening and stand there with a pile of ironing and do it. And here's another thing, right? If you are fortunate enough to be able to afford to have a cleaner come and clean your house, I do. Is it a bloke or a woman? It's a woman, of course. It's a woman. 03453 009956. You can text in 81333. Start your text WM. Russell in Alvechurch has texted in. Now, I'm not sure I'd necessarily go as far as this. Women are put on this planet to do housework. End of. Women are inferior to us men in every respect. Can you think of anything a woman can do better than men other than moan and nag? Now, I'm not saying... Of course I don't agree with that. Russell, naughty. Just read this again. Maybe you want to have your say on this. Women are put on this planet to do housework. End of. Women are inferior to us men in every respect. Can you think of anything a woman can do better than men other than moan and nag? Russell, I'm hoping you're saying that to be contentious and that's not actually your thoughts. 03453 009956 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. And also women are better at doing the housework than men. We always kind of miss bits, don't we? We always kind of get bits wrong and don't do the right bit. The number of times I've hoovered up my house and then that same day my wife has hoovered. I go, no, you don't need to do that. I did it earlier. You missed a bit. You didn't do it properly. OK, so what was the point in me even having a go at doing it? 03453 009956 is the phone number.
Iain Lee.
On BBC WM.
95.6. The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
Mary's in Winston Green. Morning, Mary.
Morning, Iain.
Morning, Mary. What you got?
Well, I'm just saying, you can buy spray starch.
What? But where?
I've not
seen it for years.
Yeah, Tesco in Edgbaston, that's where I get mine from.
Is that because I've been into some big supermarkets, Tesco, Waitrose, and indeed the Sainsbury's, the S word, with the sole intention of buying some, and big ones, the sole intention of buying some starch, and there ain't nothing.
You can get it. See, this is my point. Men can't multitask. It's not in an obvious place in Tesco.
Well, where is it then?
Ask a member of staff, Iain, and they'll point you to it.
Hang on a minute. Surely it's by the washing tablets and things.
No. It's further along the aisle than where you would be standing looking for washing tablets.
Hang on. What's it next to then? Not the Vanish.
It's on the top shelf.
Oh, okay.
You see?
Yeah. And
you wouldn't look there. You wouldn't look there. Being a man, you just wouldn't look there.
What are you talking about?
Because women can multitask. This is why women are way more better at holding down a job and coming home and doing all the housework, because if you ask a man to do it, you have to keep on and supervise. You might as well do it yourself.
Mary, but be honest, you also enjoy doing it, don't you?
Oh, love it, Iain, love it.
Now,
that was a bit sarcastic, that was.
I was detecting some sarcasm in your voice then. But seriously, you do enjoy it. It kind of takes you to a very... It's like some people, runners, they can switch off their mind, and it's not just good for their bodies, it's good for their spirit, Mary. It's good for their souls, because they meditate, they disappear into a zen place. Surely that's the same for you when you're on your hands and knees.
I think you'll find, Iain, that women do it from necessity.
Oh.
And that's all it is, to achieve a nice, clean, tidy home that you couldn't trust a man to do anyway.
What? But
in any sphere of the housework, I've never met a man who can do it better than a woman. Not because you're trained properly, because men are lazy and cannot multitask. They'd rather sit and watch a television when they've come home from work. They'd rather sit and watch football. There's always a football match they can find on the television to watch instead of doing housework. And I will admit, yes, women are way better at doing it. And there is a sense of satisfaction. And then you men come along and you just tip it all upside down and wonder what's gone wrong.
What's this thing as well? Why can't I just leave dirty plates and cups in the sink to do tomorrow morning? Why have I got to do it that night?
Oh, no, I'm with you on that one, Iain. There's no point washing a cup or a plate. Leave it till the morning. Because that's the one thing I've got my husband to manage to do over the years.
Yeah.
And I cook, he washes up, and he'd love a dishwasher. Well, I've got one, so I don't need to go out and purchase one.
I'm not a fan of dishwashers. I don't think they work. My dishwasher, constantly, I'm taking the stuff out after it's been cleaned, and it's still dirty, so I'm putting it back in.
Yeah, no, don't agree with dishwashers. I've got the best one in the world. Actually, it's taken 32 years to get to this point, and he's never broken down, I will add.
Good for you, Mary. Well done. He will do one day. Don't worry, the pressure will get to him too much. 03453 009956. Mary has just reminded me of something terrifying. Football. Is it next week the World Cup starts? Oh, flipping heck. Now, as you will know, and I got berated for this last time, I'm not a massive sports fan. OK, I'm not a massive sports fan. The World Cup starts in a week. It's something like 3 football matches a day, isn't it? What? How is that even possible? That can't be good. 3 football matches a day? Malcolm, how are you going to survive during the World Cup?
How am I going to? I don't watch the World Cup.
See, I'm not a fan of football at all.
No,
three football matches a day, Malcolm. It's going to dominate everything.
Of course it is. They get paid too much, Iain, as far as I'm concerned. That's why I don't bother with it.
Here's an idea. Why don't we pay the fans, I don't know, maybe £100,000 each to go and see a football match, and then the football players can pay 90 quid themselves to go and play, and then maybe they might make a bit more of an effort.
Oh, yeah. You're a man of my own heart, but for goodness sake, will you get off this thing about women? She'll be doing my head in all day talking about this.
Go on.
You know, you'll be digging yourself in. I'll stick to politics, Ian, for God's sake.
Why? But Malcolm, you know I make sense, don't you?
Yeah, well, in what way?
Women enjoy doing the housework, and this isn't...
I'm not going to say anything because she's listening.
You coward!
I am a coward when it comes to that. When you get to my age, when you're a pensioner, you're with them day in, day out, mate.
You've learned.
You'll soon find out.
You've learned to keep your head down and keep your mouth shut.
That's it. You just say, leave it alone for goodness sake.
Do you ever do any of the housework, Malcolm? Any of the ironing or a little bit of scrubbing?
Oh, well, I will if she lets me.
Right.
You see, some women are a bit like Nora Batties. They won't, that age, and they want to do everything, and men can't do nothing.
Yeah.
You see, and things like... It's like when you was talking about going shopping.
Yeah.
Us men go in the shopping, go into the supermarket. I know where all the stuff is.
Yeah.
And the next thing I know, I'm walking down there and the wife's looking at something else that we don't want.
Yeah.
You know.
I know what you mean. I always... I'm told I'm not... I think I'm a really good shopper in the supermarket because I buy things that look nice. And when I get home, I'm told I can't make a meal out of a mop and some frozen oven chips.
Yeah.
But to me, at the time, it seems like a good deal to me.
That's it. You see... I mean, I keep saying to my missus, look, I used to be single at one time, and I've been in the military. I said I know how to look after myself, but it still doesn't wear any, you still don't wear anything about it.
It doesn't wear anything about it, Malcolm. You're right. 03453 009956. On the subject of road rage, it's Rich in Kidderminster. Morning, Rich.
Good morning.
Rich, what would you like to say?
I'd like to say, well, my experience was quite traumatic, actually.
Go on.
Driving down. Picture the scene down by Hillcrest School, Bartley Green, where it goes from a few lanes into one.
Yeah, I know.
Gang of 4 kids behind me. Didn't think much of it. They were trying to overtake me. Basically, it'd be a risky time, going the usual speed limit. I'm an advanced driver. Let's start that.
Yeah.
And they didn't like the fact they couldn't get past me. And flash started with the V's, flashing lights. And then literally I thought, what's going on? They were really trying to get past me, couldn't. And anyway, they got past me just outside the school and stopped. He got out, opened his boot, and then pulled out a hammer.
What?
And then a hammer, and then a satellite dish turned into a shield. So he's clearly prepared.
Well, hang on a minute. So he's looking like some knight from the olden days. He's got a satellite dish as a shield and a hammer.
It's a shield and a hammer.
Flippin' heck.
And then obviously he's clearly prepared for it. This was some years ago, but it was obviously I'm sort of, what am I going to do? Fight or flight? What do I do? It's just a carriageway, there's only one lane either side. So I thought I locked all my doors, and I thought I'm only in like an escort, just to 1.3. I thought, God, he's got a higher range anyway. So I had to sort of drive towards him. I saw a break in the traffic, drove towards him, went round his car. Then I had traffic coming towards me, and then the traffic in front must have thought, my God, what's going on? And because I had ended up, I'd made a quick assessment, nobody on the pavement. He smashed my back window in. So I had to mount the pavement, go round the cars on there opposite on the pavement, get down, and literally from Bartley Green, then it was a chase. He actually chased me all the way from Bartley Green to Rose Road Nick, actually, in which case he turned off. And for me, I passed my home on the way, just couldn't stop, thought, don't want to follow me.
Yeah,
but
of course.
The fact is, made it through the traffic, and it was just, for me, I just felt that, afterwards, I broke down, I must say. And
oh, I bet you did. That sounds absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, and it was, and fair play to the police. They, as it was, one came out of the station and thought my car had been broken into until she saw me breaking down, and then, they, next thing I knew, they were all flying out looking for him, because it was quite a distinctive car, but they never did find him, and I can only hope he's somewhere behind bars now, because that type of person, I would imagine, I would have thought, hopefully might be. But yeah, the positive note, it wasn't anyone else who probably couldn't get away, and that
you made it sound like an episode of The Sweeney.
I
Particularly
can
the
imagine
escort.
it probably, yeah. yeah, I can imagine. It's I shake now just thinking about it. Believe it or not.
Well, listen. When I've been shouted at, I'm playing the big man a bit, but when I've been shouted at, you do get a little bit shaky, and a couple of times I've had to pull over, just get my breath back, and then just get back into it. But if you've got it's the satellite dish as a shield is the thing that I'm. He was ready for it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And all I was bothered about was mounting the pavement when I was making a statement, and they were saying no. You couldn't have done anything else. The fact is, I think what could have happened, I'd probably had my head caved in. That's the fact of where we were at.
Has that changed? You're an advanced driver anyway, so you sort of know the rules of the road better than most. Has that changed the way you drive since then?
Has it? I always consider myself a safe driver anyway. I think it's just more the fact I'm more prepared for if it happened again.
Yeah.
I'm sort of. What's my regret? My regret was maybe if I'd have taken his door off because he had it open, it might have traced him.
Yeah,
but then what happens? I suppose it's just. What's my view? I'd just have to do the same again. It's just lock my doors and try and get away. That's the. I don't know. I'm just more cautious about people. I don't know what I could have done, whether I could have let him pass. I don't know, because he was actually trying to get round at a risky moment. He was just
he was a nut. He was a nut job, and whatever you did wasn't going to be right. You were never going to appease him. He wanted a fight.
Yeah. Yes, and it's clear because he's out there looking with a satellite dish. I don't know how you'd explain that. But he was total nut.
Rich, I listen, I'm glad you're okay. I appreciate the call. What a story. We're not going to beat that. I know we're not going to beat that in terms of a road rage story. A nut job gets out, gets a hammer and a satellite dish out of the boot of his car to act as a shield, like some weird kind of cyber knight. That's nuts, isn't it? That is properly mentally ill to do that, to think that is acceptable behaviour. You got to hope that guy is in prison or has had some kind of spiritual awakening and seen the error of his ways. 03453 009956. I think that's the bar. I don't think we're going to get any road rage stories as bad or worse than that. Hey, you might be able to prove me wrong. You might have had something that was even more terrifying. I'd love to hear it if you did. We can look at the smaller incidents. I've had people stopping in front of me. And kind of doing the what? What would you call that? That's like who am I doing? Who's this? What I'm doing is I'm raising my shoulders and my hands. Is that Robert De Niro? I'm doing a shrugging. That's the word. That's it. It's a shrug. Thank you very much, Producer Joe. I'm shrugging, but not in a friendly way. Not in in an aggressive shrug. You get the aggressive shrug and the fingers and all of that stuff. You'd never do that if you were walking up and down the street. If someone stopped in front of you or someone accidentally bumped you. You go, well, someone bumped me in the street. Oh, I'm sorry. That's what I would say. You never get you flipping it. Right, come here. Let's have a fight. 03453 009956 is the telephone number. It's BBC WM 95.6. Let's get the travel news now. Here's Liz Saul.
Thank you, Iain. As you head to Dudley Port, the A457, or part of it is still shut. Between the A461 and Cletton Street, while emergency repairs are carried out, there is a diversion for you to follow. You're also having to follow a local diversion in Dudley with the closure of Holly Hall Road while emergency repairs take place between Norfolk Road and Suffolk Road. And a collapsed sewer means there's still restrictions on Tiverton Road in Selly Oak this morning around Bristol Road. Traffic can squeeze by passing the scene near the pizza place, but it's likely to cause you some disruption. Not too bad on the motorways currently. If you can update us, call BBC WM 95.6 travel 08453 002288.
Middleton,
Mile Oak,
Moseley,
Oldbury,
Pattingham.
Have your say across the West Midlands.
BBC WM
95.6.
Yep, that'll do it. 03453 009956. So far, what a random start to the show we've had. We're talking about road rage incidents. I'd love your stories. If you've done it, could you give me a call? Because there will be people listening to this who have lost their temper, who have gotten out of the car. There will be people, or maybe you don't realise that you've done it. Maybe you think your behaviour, your anger at that middle-aged mum with two kids in the back is actually well directed. It's meant, that was fair enough. 03453 009956. We're also talking about women. You do enjoy the house. You do enjoy the housework, don't you, Millie? Millie? Millie's disappeared. We'll get Millie back. You do enjoy the housework a little bit. And I'm not saying that to be a horrible kind of, Neanderthal. Hey, you girls, get back in the kitchen and cook. Cook my supper. I'm not suggesting that in the slightest. Not like Russell. Is this text from Russell serious? Women are put on this planet to do housework. End of. Women are inferior to us men in every respect. Can you think of anything a woman can do better than men other than moan and nag? Well, I can think of a few things. Maybe not. Millie?
Yes, dear.
Sorry?
Right. Carry on.
Yeah, hello. Who's there with you?
You.
Thank you. That's
it's you and me in the house.
Beautiful, Millie. Let's. It's getting a bit hot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's loosen our buttons.
In the garden, really.
Oh, okay. Well, I wouldn't do it in the garden. That would be inappropriate. Yeah. So, Millie, do you enjoy a bit of the housework?
Yeah, I'm a proper housewife.
Here we go. A proper housewife. What does that mean?
That meaning, I do everything in my house, from cups to saucers. My sons don't do that. They have the cup of tea. They put it there and they go. Because if they wash it, they don't wash it to suit me. Yeah?
Yeah.
When men wash a cup, they just chuck little water in it and put it, and that's wash. I wash mine with liquid. And I do not put my teacups in the sink with plates.
What?
The plates got to wash on their own.
Yeah.
I wash the cups on their own. The simple reason you don't do that, in case you get cups chip or the plate chip, and they got your grease on the plate. I don't like that.
So hang on a second. So you won't wash cups and plates in the same sink?
No, I don't like that.
In case a cup chips?
Yeah, I don't want to chip cup, or you could damage my plate.
I would never willingly, Millie, damage your plates. I promise you, I will try not to damage your plates. But do you enjoy it? Do you enjoy doing the housework?
Yeah.
You get pleasure from it, don't you?
That's my duty. My duty is to do the housework. Press the clothes, get the boys' clothes ready, get the shoes polished when they're going to school. I do everything. I do everything in the house is my duty to do. The man is to bring the money and give me.
And so you don't have a paid job then, Millie?
No.
You stay at home and you make the house nice.
Right,
and
right.
if you don't make the house nice, and if you don't get the tea ready on time, do you get told off?
No. I don't. I don't got no one telling me what to do and what not to do. I do it when I'm ready. I know when the boy's hungry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're talking about men not tidy. My Rupert. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone feel like he take after me. Spotless. Everything is in its place. You go in the bathroom, you think you're in House of Fraser. Nice, everything nice.
It's a brilliant comparison.
Yeah, and the next thing you want house starch, right?
Yeah.
Spray starch. I got box of starch. Here, listen, that's the box of starch. I got cans of spray starch.
Yeah.
You're going to Savers. I don't know where you live. I got to get my from One Stop. And you're going to, we call that shop Home Bargain.
Yeah.
You're going to Boots Chemist to get spray starch. It's always there.
Spray starch in Boots the Chemist?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Probably you can't get spray starch because I must have bought the lot.
Yeah, I think you may have
just buy
done.
about 6 cans.
Honestly, this is my tip, fellas. Honestly, I discovered this a while ago and I love it. If you're ironing as soon as I put a shirt on, Millie, it gets creased. Gets completely creased. A little bit of spray starch on there. Boom shakalaka.
Right. What I did, right, I have box starch.
Yeah.
I mix the boiling water and mix my starch and spray the shirt, and starch the shirts.
Yeah.
But then using the spray spray starch, I spray the whole lot right round, yeah?
Yeah.
And then I fold it. You see, you fold it, you put it in a little bundle, and you fold it there and put them together, so that the starch goes into them.
Millie, I don't know how strong your marriage is, but
listen to me.
Would you ever consider leaving your husband and living with me?
I live with my boys.
Oh, you can bring them. I'll adopt them. How old are your boys?
My sons are men.
How old are they?
Well, I can't tell the age. They're old enough. But I looks after Robert's shirt. Robert is the baby.
Yeah.
The last boy, right? So I look all of his shirts. I got to press them there. Nice.
So I'm going to guess Robert's age from his name. There's a thing out in the papers that you can guess people's age from their names.
Is it?
Yeah. So Robert is going to be. You're calling him the baby.
Yeah, he's 6'4".
Okay, 32.
No, he's older than that.
He's older than that?
Yeah. Well, Robert, his name is from his granddad.
Okay, Grandad Robert.
His granddad is Robert.
38.
Well, stay there then.
Okay, 30. So he's 40. So
he's the same age as Danny.
Okay, who's Danny?
My white son, Danny Kelly.
Oh, Danny Kelly. Okay, right. So he's pushing 50. So
get off.
Yeah. So and you don't let your young Robert do anything around the house. He doesn't do any. He doesn't.
No.
He doesn't make you. Does he make Mum a cup of tea?
No. My boys don't drink tea.
Why is
they never like tea from the time they're going to school? They have a drink of juice and that's it.
Why is? May I ask? Why is Robert still living with you?
Because that's my baby.
You've got to kick him out. Enjoy your later years. Boot him out.
No, that's my baby. And my Robert looked just like me. He got my face. His face looked like mine. People just meet me and say, "You're Rob's mum." I say, "Yeah."
Well, Millie, I think you spoil those boys, but well done you. 03453 009956. We'll come back to what Millie was saying in a bit. Be honest, fella. And I sound like I'm turning into some horrible sexist Neanderthal. I'm kind of lefty and right on, and hey, man, everything's groovy, guys. But, gentlemen, in your modern marriages, didn't part of you think, whoa, she does all the cooking and all the cleaning? Wow. Didn't part of you think, oh, that sounds, kind of interesting? 03453 009956.
BBC WM
95.6.
Now, here we go, speed cameras. Who's a fan of speed cameras here? Anyone? Guys? Bueller? Despite being switched off more than a year ago because they cost too much to run, fixed speed cameras could be turned back on in parts of the West Midlands. The police will be trying out new digital cameras, which are cheaper in parts of Birmingham and Solihull later this year. The West Midlands Police and Crime Commissioner, Bob Jones, says new digital technology means they'll now be less expensive to run.
Well, we hope to have the stuff in during the autumn. We want to make sure people are fully aware of it, and the hope is it will be fully operational by early next year.
Well, Claire Armstrong is the co-founder of safespeed.org.uk. Claire, that makes it sound like you're in favour of these cameras. Is that right?
Not at all.
Oh, go on.
No, we want all automated enforcement removed from the roads because it has no place in proper and intelligent road safety, which is what we call for. We also call for the return of traffic police onto the roads because no matter how expensive it might be, you are better, and there's documents to prove this. TRL 595 proves it, that a policeman is better on the road for road safety than any speed camera any day. We had the safest roads in the world when we had no cameras at all, and now we're around about number 5 in the world ratings for road safety. Yet for decade upon decade, before we ever had the cameras, we were revered around the world for our road safety.
But we've had cameras, 20, 25 years, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
But 25 years ago, the world was a different place. The cars were slower. There were much less people on the roads. You can't, can you really correlate the decline in road safety with the introduction of cameras?
Yeah, we can correlate the fact that, in fact, our deaths went up, in essence, because they didn't go down. They plateaued. And when you alter road safety and you see literally a line bubbling across the page, and you're going, well, hang on, what's going on? Bubbling as in it's small ripples up and down, up and down. That's what you expect in statistics, but that means you have changed something fundamental and categoric across the board. Considering we have faster and better medical care, there were no other major contribution than the fact that we introduced speed cameras. We know also that during every recession, we drop in killed and seriously injured. As we come out of recession, we'll actually increase that figure. So it's actually slightly strange that they want to bring back the cameras from a political point of view, because it will, they'll be going, oh, well, hang on, our statistics are worse than last year when we didn't have cameras. Does that mean, because they, that cameras are good or bad? They don't understand what they're doing. They're very misguided. And I've had this out with ACPO, the head of the police unit, that we need to have more police on the road. Forget cameras. No matter how many pennies you spend on them, or tens of thousands of pounds is what we're talking about, that could be even 2 or 3 extra policemen back on the road. That would be good for road safety. We stop the dangerous and inconsiderate motorists instead of having them valiantly, traipse past a camera at any old speed.
But the thing is that the cameras do make money eventually, and we're never going to get more police traffic.
Of course we will.
We're not going to get more traffic police because the police forces all across the country are facing huge, massive cuts. They're sourcing out more of their resources to private companies and civilians.
Well, when you think. And I do sort of agree with you. We know that there are major cuts going on, but you have to spend the money on the right things. We have to make sure that where we've only got, a little bit of money for the police, it should be spent on the proper and intelligent things that alter road safety for the benefit of road safety. We've only got 6% of accidents, of all accidents, that have speed as a factor, not a cause. If you're not addressing the cause of an accident, you will never prevent it. You might make it a little bit less severe, but you'll never stop it. Making sure that people don't get fatigued, which causes inattention and frustration, and those two are the prime objectives the prime reasons why we have accidents in the first place. So if you make people, lose the skill of judging a safe speed, you then drop their confidence levels, and that causes more accidents.
Would you increase the speed limits?
Would I what?
Would you increase the speed limits?
Not necessarily, but we have dropped them. We've dropped them to the average mean instead of the 85th percentile. And the 85th percentile is where you have a free travelling speed survey done, and you find out what up to 85% of drivers do, and they're considered to be legal and considerate and law-abiding. And therefore you set your speed to the 85th percentile. It's something that we set many years ago, and the world does it because we did it, because it was safe. You said cars are faster now than they were. Only fractions of a percentage of cars are faster than they were in the 80s, for example. We know that cars can happily mostly do 100 miles an hour, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we should all do that. So you set speeds to guide inexperienced motorists, to have a level of prosecution, and to make sure it's set, most importantly, a setting for hazard density. So in other words, you come into a 30, it's going to be an upbuilt area. You come into a 60, it's going to be generally fairly rural, but be careful. Making sure you always travel so that you know you can stop in the distance you see to be clear.
Claire, we're running out of time. Very quickly, final question. Do you think that speed cameras serve any purpose at all?
Only to distract drivers and to not make them concentrate on the road ahead, defocus their ride from the dashboard to the camera. People do it an average of 3 times. We have to make sure we get away from speed cameras and put proper policing back on our roads, no matter how expensive it might be and no matter how slow that process is. We must do the right thing. Sound science and engineering is crucial to road safety. Spend the money on that. Don't waste your funds.
Claire, thank you very much. We're going to end it there. Claire Armstrong, co-founder of safespeed.org.uk. Behind an online petition to the government called Scrap Speed Cameras. I don't find myself staring at speed cameras in a dangerous way when I'm driving. You see them. If you're on the motorway, you see them out of your periphery, don't you? Let's put it out there. 03453 009956. Do you agree with Claire we should get rid of speed cameras altogether and have more traffic cops? Or do you think actually they do serve quite a useful purpose in making our roads a bit safer? 03453 009956.
The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
BBC WM 95.6.
It's 10 o'clock. Let's get the latest news now with Nicole Pullman.
David Cameron has condemned as barbaric the death sentence imposed on a woman in Sudan for being a practising Christian, despite having a Muslim father. Mariam Ibrahim's marriage to a Christian man has also been annulled by the court. Mr Cameron's comments were echoed by the Labour leader Ed Miliband and the Liberal Democrat leader Nick Clegg, who said it was a human rights abuse. A fixer who organised sham weddings has been jailed for 5 years by a judge at Wolverhampton Crown Court. 27-year-old Mohammed Wajid Akhtar admitted 11 charges and another 10 were taken into account. 6 of the fake brides and 2 of the grooms were also jailed. 125 years of tyre manufacturing in Erdington in Birmingham has officially ended. Workers at Dunlop did their last shift yesterday because production is being moved overseas. The Erdington Labour MP Jack Dromey says the company could have stayed in Birmingham, but they've chosen not to.
They've never put up an argument. They've always said that they wanted to stay if they could. 18 months ago, I worked with the council, with government, to carve out an alternative option for them. They could have stayed in Birmingham if they'd have wanted to.
More than a year after they were all switched off to save money, plans have been announced that could mean fixed speed cameras will return to Birmingham and another part of the West Midlands. New technology now makes them cheaper to run, and West Midlands Police has revealed that it'll be running a trial in parts of the city and Solihull in the autumn. The golfer Phil Mickelson is being investigated in the United States for possible insider trading. The FBI is said to be looking into his trades into two companies, including one that was the subject of a takeover attempt by a billionaire investor. Michael Rothfield is from the Wall Street Journal, which broke the story.
We learned today that the FBI approached Mr. Mickelson yesterday. He's playing in a golf tournament in Ohio, and after he was finished with his round for the day, two FBI agents came up to him and told him they wanted to talk to him in connection with this investigation.
A portrait of Burntwood teenager Stephen Sutton is being auctioned today. It was one of the things on his bucket list, and money raised from the sale of the portrait will go to the Teenage Cancer Trust. Stephen raised more than £4 million for them. It's by Kevin Okafor, whose photorealistic pictures have won prizes. The weather a mostly dry and rather cloudy day today, but there will be some sunshine and isolated showers this afternoon. The top temperature 19 Celsius, 66 Fahrenheit. Mostly dry tonight with some fog in places and a minimum temperature of 7 Celsius, 45 Fahrenheit. And tomorrow very similar to today with perhaps a little bit more sunshine. Odd showers again possible in the afternoons, the winds staying light. BBC WM 95.6 News. There's more online at bbc.co.uk/WM.
The Voice. The Voice.
The Voice.
The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
You should take in other religions and treat them as you would want to be treated yourself.
We are even more intelligent. They treated me with the utmost respect.
Iain Lee, Saturdays
9 till 12.
BBC WM 95.6.
Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC WM 95.6. Oh, what a busy first hour of the show. We have a couple of lines free now. And we got rid of some callers, so if you want to call in, now is an excellent time. What have we talked about so far? Let's have a little recap, shall we? It's been a car special. I know, who'd have thunk it? A car special. We've been talking about road rage. I had a terrible thing in London at the week. This fella, I was a second and a half slow into pulling away when the lights changed at a roundabout. The bloke behind me went nuts. Absolutely nuts. Effing and jeffing. He pulled up beside me, he slowed down, he wanted to get out. My way of dealing with it, I wound down my window, asked for his telephone number and asked if he fancied going out for a coffee. I said, I'll buy you a pastry. He was furious. Your road rage stories, please. We've already heard from one chap. It was terrifying. A fella pulled up in front of him, got out a satellite dish and a hammer, used the satellite dish as a shield, and then chased him all through the town. Your stories of road rage, please, and examples of bad driving that you've seen. We're also talking about housework, and I can't quite remember how we got onto this, but women, you do enjoy the housework, don't you? Don't you? It's just not fashionable for you to admit it. You've been brainwashed by the Jermaine Greers, by the all the other ladies. I can't think of any other ladies. That you don't enjoy it. You're not supposed to enjoy it. It's supposed to be shared. But no. You do enjoy it. 03453 009956. And we were just talking about speed cameras. Just speaking to Claire Armstrong. She's behind a petition, Scrap Speed Cameras. She thinks, if anything, they make the roads more dangerous. I'm not convinced by that, really. What are your thoughts on that? Are you a fan of speed cameras? Lots of ways to get in touch. Iain.lee@bbc.co.uk. You can send me a text, 81333. Start your text WM. But look, we've got 1, 2, 3 lines free. Now is an excellent time to give me a call. 03453 009956.
Have your say.
Across the West Midlands, call
03453
00
9956.
BBC
I'll have a
WM
chocolate
95.6.
croissant. I was being asked in my ear by producer Joe if I wanted a croissant. I couldn't find a suitably subtle way of going into a description of the kind of croissant I want, so I'm abusing the BBC airwaves. I'd like a chocolate croissant, please. 03453 009956. On the subject of cleaning, Clive has emailed in 2 emails. First one, hello Iain. The chore of ironing in my home is shared by my wife and I. Many years ago, when we were first married, I was not satisfied with the quality of ironing when she ironed my shirts. Therefore, what we do now and have done for all our married life is to iron our clothes as we require them each day. My quality of ironing is superior to my wife's. And then Clive sent another. They've obviously discussed this, and he sent his address. I'm tempted to pop round, Clive. Hello again, Iain. My wife is good at housework, but mainly top cleaning. When a deep clean or spring clean is required, I am far better. And maybe there's something in that. The thorough clean. The clean when you take everything off, you strip everything back, and you go in deep and hard. Maybe. That's more suited to gentlemen. 03453 009956. Alex Ranjit, stay there. We'll get your stories on road rage in a second. But Gary's called in about speed cameras. Morning, Gary.
Morning, Iain.
Gary, what's the weather like out there today? Because we're told it's supposed to be nice, but when I came in, it was a bit chilly and grey.
Well, it's grey, but not chilly. It's mild. You know.
Okay. There was again with this day I was in London, and I'm not a fan of going into London, but I had to for work. It was really dark. It was almost a tropical kind of tension in the air. It was. Does this mean anything to you? This is what my mum used to say. It was very close.
Yeah.
Do you know? It was very close the other day. I enjoyed that. Anyway, Gary, what have you got?
Well, a while back on one of your late programmes, that a high police ranking officer in down southwest
yes
phoned in regarding speed cameras.
Yeah.
And there they're trying this thing out, whereas they give speed camera campaigners and speed campaigners the chance to have speed guns in particular areas where there's a lot of speeding.
Oh yeah.
And they give chance to point these speed guns at speeders, and the speeders are warned that if they're caught 3 times, then they get prosecuted. They get warned twice. And it's working because they can't police it, these areas, because there aren't enough police. So they give campaigners the choice.
I've heard about this. And if I've got this right, because I was talking to someone else about this, they're doing this all over the country. They don't get the speed guns, the things that look like the hairdryers. They get, what are they called? They're called like Smiling Sams or something. And it's those signs where if you're doing under 30, you get a smiley face. And if you're doing over 30, you get a sad face. I think that's what they're using.
Well, no, because that you have to be warned if there's any form of speed camera.
Right, okay.
But a smiley face thing and a sad face thing is just warning you, you know.
Yeah. Because when I see those, I kind of that winds me up even more. If I'm doing a 30, if I'm, and let's be honest, Gary, can we be frank here? We're gentlemen of the world. Sorry, we're gentlemen of the world. We've all sped, haven't we? We've all gone over the speed limit at some point in our lives. I'm not condoning it. I'm not saying it's right, but at some point we've all maybe done 34 in a 30, haven't we?
Well, yeah. It's speeding is like racism in this country. It'll never go away. So,
Gary, you've left me speechless there. Thank you very much. What a depressing thought. Speeding is like racism in this country. It'll never go away. We've all done this. That comparison has really knocked me for 6. That's completely thrown me. We've all sped, haven't we? And please, I'm not condoning it. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's great. But we've all done it. We've all been on the motorway and looked at our speedometers. Oh, we're doing 75. Haven't we? There can't be one person listening to this show that has not sped, that has not gone a little bit faster because the road was clear and it was 4 o'clock in the morning and there was nobody there and, you know, really, I'm no danger to anyone. Let's take a call at random. Ranjit.
Hiya, mate.
You've gone over the speed limit, haven't you?
I always, most of the time, yeah.
Most of the time?
Yeah.
Look, listen, I used to be a lorry driver.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I can explain about road rage as well. You know, when you're a lorry driver, you're taught to drive continuous, trying not to stop, yeah?
Yeah.
So, for example, if you come to a roundabout in a car or a lorry,
yeah,
you're supposed to continuously try and drive unless there's an obstruction or something else, yeah?
Yeah.
So what?
Well, hang on, why? Okay. You're not supposed to stop at roundabouts.
It keeps the traffic flowing.
Okay.
Okay. So when I see drivers and the traffic island is totally clear, nothing coming from the right, and you can see everything, and drivers still stop at the giveaway line, yeah?
Yeah.
When there's nothing coming, I don't get into road rage, but I do get angry. I think you're making me now stop. You didn't have to stop. If you was to approach the roundabout with your observations, yeah?
Yeah.
And you would know the road is clear, there is no need to stop. Yes, slow down, have a good look, and carry on. Keep the traffic flowing.
I thought you... Hang on a minute. I thought you're supposed to stop at give way.
No, hang on. If there's nothing to give way, why do you want to stop?
Supposing you can't see right round the roundabout...
No, then you stop. I'm saying...
Right, OK.
You're going to listen to what I say.
I do apologise, Ranj.
Okay.
He's got a right cob on this morning, Ranj, hasn't he?
OK, no, listen.
Go on.
What I'm saying is...
Yes.
You approach the roundabout at the appropriate speed, yeah?
Yes.
You don't, barge in.
Yeah, no barging.
You look...
You look.
You have a look. There's nothing coming from the right.
Yeah.
There's no pedestrians, nothing. You slow down to 3, 4, 5 miles an hour, and then you carry on proceeding. You don't have to stop. The only place you have to stop is where there's one solid line and a hexagonal sign.
Oh, that's the stop sign. Okay, so you have to stop there. You don't have to stop at the give way.
Yeah.
And it gets you angry. Why does it, Ranj? Why does it get you so angry?
No, it doesn't.
Chill out, man.
No, I don't get into road rage, but that's a sign of bad driving. Yeah. Now, other things like when you're going to turn right and your exit isn't clear on a road, but you're blocking traffic coming from the other way. What it is, drivers need to be taught how to drive, not just pass their tests, right? And about speeding, I don't see why, if the motorway is clear or there's conditions of the road, I wouldn't drive at 30 miles an hour by a school. I'd drive 20, even if there's no signs, if I can see school kids. If I'm going along the motorways, for example, the M40, M69, and the road is clear, the weather is good, there's nothing wrong with me doing 80 miles an hour, 85 miles an hour if I've got a good vehicle and I'm, I can see what I'm doing and I'm,
listen, while of course I can't condone anybody breaks the law, I kind of see your point. In another life, I'm using motorways about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning when they're pretty much empty.
Yeah.
And it does seem ridiculous that I'm forced to stick at 70 miles an hour on a clear stretch of motorway.
That's what I'm saying. You're not. Okay, you are breaking the law. You're not putting yourself in danger, and you're not putting anybody else in danger. If you was doing 100 miles an hour, then I would say, even if the motorway is clear, the risk you're taking is, say if you had a blowout, you're not going to be able to control your car, especially if it's a front tyre, right? Then you're putting your own risk at danger.
In Germany, they don't have speed limits on the motorways in Germany, do they? The Autobahn.
No, because what it is, you've got to... if I'm driving along at 70, I start losing concentration, my mind starts wandering, right? If I'm driving at 80 miles an hour, okay, I'm not saying I'm proud of it, but I feel safe, but I'm also, looking to see if there's any police cars or anything, so I'm a bit more observant, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing, these speed cameras, I think they're just a money-making thing. And the thing with a speed camera is there's no discretion. I've been pulled over by the police, and if it's an experienced policeman, I've only ever been pulled up once, I think. He just gave me a ticking off. He says, mate, what you're doing is a bit terrible. Just don't do it again. You know what? And I've gone away, and I've thought to myself, I've done 60 on a dual carriageway when it's supposed to be 40. And since then, I only go 45 on a dual carriageway.
Ranjit, we've got to move on, but since then, Ranjit's only broken the law by a smaller amount. 03453 009956 is the phone number. It's 10:15, it's BBC WM 95.6. Let's get the travel news with Liz.
Thank you, Ian. There's quite a few problems to contend with, actually. The main thing is the ongoing closure of the A457 around Dudley Port between the A461 and Cletton Street. Has been causing delays at times as you follow a local diversion. Bus routes 42 and 44 also on diversion as a result as emergency repairs continue. And Dudley Hollyhall Road is still shut, also emergency repairs there between Norfolk Road and Suffolk Road. Again, a local diversion to follow. And in Selly Oak, a collapsed sewer means there's still restrictions and delays likely on Tiverton Road at the junction with Bristol Road. We're getting reports of an accident in Abbots Bromley at Blunt's Hollow at Thorney Lanes, not far from Horcross Hall. And police tell us they are on the way to the scene. It's heavy going on the A38 as you head into Birmingham towards Edgbaston. Busy around Soho Road in Handsworth as well. If you can update us, call BBC WM 95.6 Travel 08453 002288.
And I intend to tell Ian Lees, he was bragging about his own dance last week.
He's a good enough broadcaster, but when it comes to dancing, me v Ian Lees, no contest.
You had rhythm.
Ian, 2 left feet. Lees.
Adrian Goldberg.
Monday to Friday, 9 till 12.
BBC WM
95.6.
No. What's this? What's that? What's Goldberg's banging on about now? What's Addy Goldberg's banging on about? He's talking about that Brum Moves thing, is he? He thinks he's a better dancer than me. I saw him dancing with Aswad. Not Aswad, UB40. I say dancing. I use that term very, very loosely. I mean, they kept his piece particularly short. Everyone felt sorry for him on the day. It was like, your granddad trying to relive his youth. It was a sad moment for everybody. How dare Addy Goldberg say he's better than me? 03453 009956 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. We're talking about road rage. We're talking about doing the housework. We're talking about all kinds of things. Let's go to Alex in Tamworth. Morning, Alex.
Good morning.
Alex, what would you like to say, sir?
I don't think my account could top the previous caller's account with his satellite dish.
Wasn't it terrifying?
But my incident was almost as bad.
Go on, what happened?
There's a well-known car spares and motorcycle dealership on the old A5 in Tamworth some years ago, and I'd called into the car spares place on a Friday afternoon, and the traffic was quite busy. And some distance up to the right, there's a traffic island, and the traffic was fairly busy. And I'd been to the shop, and I went to pull out. And this van coming down from the island, I suddenly thought, he's coming a bit quick. And just the front of my bonnet was just a smidge over the curb. But as he went past, he made it obvious that he thought I was not a very good driver. So I reciprocated my equal displeasure at his...
I'm assuming this displeasure was expressed via hand movements.
It was, yes.
I thought so. Okay, yes.
And then I pulled out of the car place into a line of traffic, so I was stationary.
Yeah.
I looked in my rear-view mirror, and he was screeching to a halt with smoke billowing from underneath his wheel arches.
Oh, dear.
And he came running up the road, so I put the central locking on, and he stood at the side of the car, and he was mental with rage, and he was screaming at me to get out of the flipping car.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't. He tried the door handle, it wouldn't open, and he pulled his fist back, punched the car.
Oh, my gosh.
And then the next thing I know, he was dragging me down to the floor. Luckily, I was still in gear and with the clutch in, and several cars had moved forward, allowing a gap.
Yeah.
So I let the clutch out and pulled forward, which wrenched me from his grip. And he came... I looked in the rearview mirror, and he was running after me because he knew he'd still got me captive. So I just had to go down the wrong side of the road.
Oh, my gosh.
All the way down to the island, and I just had to get away. And luckily, that was the end of it. But I'm in no doubt it was going to give me the biggest beating and kicking of my life, simply for reciprocating, to his.
You must have been terrified. Did you have that kind of shaky thing afterwards?
I was terrified at the time. I just had to get away, and when I got home, I was just shaking with fear.
Has it changed the way you drive, Alex, or your behaviour in cars?
It does make me more careful with other road users and how they may perceive my actions. Yes,
because the thing is, there are some nut jobs out. I mean, properly lunatic people who shouldn't be out in society who just don't know when to stop, do they?
There are people that have got no boundaries of what they think is acceptable and unacceptable behaviour towards other people.
Alex, I appreciate your story. When I said let's talk about road rage, I thought we'd get a few people flicking the V's and, maybe stopping the car and getting out. The two stories we've had so far have been absolutely terrifying. I'd love to hear yours, 03453 009956. I'd also love to hear you if you've done it in the past. Maybe you're a reformed character. In a bit, remind me, I must tell you the time I was offered a fight on the motorway by a lorry driver. I'll tell you that in a bit.
Pensnet,
Rugeley, Redditch,
Rowley Regis.
Have your say across the West Midlands.
BBC WM.
Well, on to, thank you. On to other things. Have we got the right to interfere in the laws of other countries? David Cameron has joined the Labour and Liberal Democrat leaders Ed Miliband and Nick Clegg to urge Sudan to overturn the death sentence handed to a woman who's refused to renounce Christianity. Gosh. A court ruled that Maryam Ibrahim was a Muslim because that was her father's religion. Meanwhile, in Iran, a British woman has been jailed for posting anti-government Facebook messages. I don't want to do the whole Christian versus Muslim debate today because, I kind of... There is a sort of case, isn't there, to say that if you live in a country, then you should abide by its rules. Does that include whatever they are? Does that... You always hear stories, don't you, about the Brits in, Saudi who are getting arrested for having a snog on a beach or going topless or whatever. And part of me thinks, yeah, it's tough. That's the law. What you're doing is inappropriate. But when it comes to your religious freedom and your religious expression, should it go that far? We can speak now to Emily Clark, who started an online petition asking for worldwide support to have Miriam free. Good morning to you, Emily.
Good morning.
Emily, why is this story so important to you?
I think just because what's happening to this woman is outrageous. She's completely innocent. And, yes, no woman anywhere in the world should have to go through this.
And so just explain the story. Just give us a little bit of background to the story for some people who may have missed it.
So she apparently was, her father was a Muslim, which means that under Sharia law in Sudan, she is a Muslim, but she was raised by her mother, who was a Christian, I think originally from Ethiopia. And her father, I think the story is that her father left her, and then she married a Christian. And I think the story is that her brother turned her in for saying that she had renounced her Islamic faith, and she basically said that she'd always been a Christian, so that hadn't happened, and she refused to kind of deny that.
And she's been handed the death penalty because of this?
Yeah, because of that, and also will receive 100 lashes for marrying a Christian man, because under Sharia law, her marriage to a Christian is void, so she's committed adultery. If
this is the law of the land, don't we have to respect it to a certain extent?
Yeah, obviously, I think when we go away to different countries, we do need to be aware of their laws. But when there's a clear breach of human rights, I think that's the most important thing. And in this instance, there is a clear breach of human rights, and no person should be sentenced to death for what they believe in or who they marry.
Do you think your petition, your campaign, is going to have any effect?
I don't know. I'd obviously love it if it did. I hope perhaps her lawyers could use it as a tool when they appeal, just to say the world is watching you. This is how many people are kind of against it, and maybe to give Miriam some support. It'd be absolutely amazing if she knew how many people were kind of behind her. So I don't know, but I guess the whole reason why I started it is just in case it does. That would obviously be incredible.
And you're right. I imagine if she is aware of the furore this has caused around the world, that would perhaps offer some comfort. I know David Cameron has come out in the last day or two and has said, this is ridiculous, this has to stop. But Sudan strikes me as the kind of place that isn't really going to listen. It doesn't seem that bothered by what the rest of the world think.
Yeah, I think people have said it's quite unpredictable and things to me. So, yeah, I'm not sure. People have been mentioning things like the UK should stop giving aid to Sudan, which perhaps that would kind of get through to them. I'm not sure, but I do think more needs to be done by the leaders.
Emily, are you a Christian?
The
reason I ask is because I'm not, and I'm wondering how difficult it is for if all she had to do is to renounce Christianity to save her life. I wonder how difficult that is to do.
I don't think I wouldn't know, but I think for her it's not a fact of how hard it is. It's just not the case. So it's probably I don't know if she could understand how she could do. She's married a Christian. I guess her children would be Christian because of that. So yeah, I don't know what it would take for them to kind of recognise her as a Muslim. If she just said she was, would that mean that she had to kind of would her marriage still be valid? I'm not sure.
Emily, it's a terrifying story. I wish you the very best of luck with the petition. And let's hope that all of these people joining together around the world can have some impact on this.
Yeah.
Emily, thank you very much indeed. That's Emily Clark. She's started a petition to have Miriam freed, released. Here's the question, I guess, because I'm not a Christian. How difficult would it be for you to renounce your faith, whatever it is, Christianity, Islam, Sikhism, whatever it is? A full list of religions can be found on our website. How difficult would it be for you to renounce? Because if I was a Christian, right, and they said, we're going to kill you because you're a Christian... Christian? Me? No, I'm not Christian. No, that's not me. No, I'm what religion are we here? I'm Muslim. Of course I am. What are you talking about? Allah, isn't it? 03453 009956. I realise I'm speaking to a kind of small minority here. I'm not sure how many religious listeners we have, but I'd love to hear from you. Christian, Muslim, whatever it may be. Would you be able to renounce your religion if it meant saving your life and it meant that your child's mum or dad still had a parent that was alive? Because they've got a little baby, haven't they? They've got a baby. So that baby is going to lose its mum because of her faith in a mystical being that may or may not be there. 03453 009956 is the telephone number. How easily could you renounce your religion?
Hear live 2020 cricket on FM and online. Leicestershire Foxes against the Birmingham Bears this Sunday afternoon from 2:30.
The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
BBC WM 95.6.
Not being a Christian, that does strike me as odd. Surely the obvious thing is you go, Jesus? Who? No, not that guy. No, I prefer the other one. Your one. What's your one? Yeah, him. Is that not easy to do? Is that not a possibility that you could just do that? But in your heart, you're saying little silent prayers to Jesus, silently in your head. Am I really oversimplifying the whole thing? And I hope it doesn't sound like I'm demeaning this horrendous situation, because I'm not at all. I guess we have to kind of move slightly to the side away from this and to discuss how important your religion is to you. 03453 009956 is the phone number. We've got two lines free at the moment, so now's a great time to give us a call. We're also talking about road rage. Mick's in Burntwood. Good morning, Mick.
Morning, Ian.
Mick, have you ever done a bit of road rage?
Yeah, I've probably given some hand signals thrown in the highway code, but nothing more than that, really.
We do that. Why do we think it's all right to do that? Because the example I always give is, if you were walking in the street and someone stepped in front of you or stopped suddenly, you wouldn't kind of walk past them flicking them the V's and mouthing obscenities to them, would you?
No, I tell you what, I much prefer being nice to people, give them a round of applause, smile, wave, winds them up much more.
This is my thing now, is I give them the thumbs up and a big smile, and they get so angry.
Yeah.
They hate, and also they get angry, and it makes me feel better. It stops me getting into the whole kind of psyche of feeling angry.
Yeah, I do something similar. Mine was my phone call was because I used to be a policeman and I was a victim of road rage one day. I was on inquiries in full uniform, but in a plain police car.
Yeah.
And this bloke tried to overtake me, and rather like the you chaps were saying earlier, and he couldn't get past, so he started flashing his lights, flicking the fees, pointing to the side of the road, waving his fist, offering me out for a fight. So I pulled over. He pulled over behind me. I waited for him to get out of his car and start storming towards me. I reached over, put my hat on.
Oh.
My police hat, stepped out of the police car and said, "Yes, sir. Can I help?"
Oh, Mick, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. What I bet he how can I phrase this? Wet himself, didn't he?
Yes, he crumpled. It was brilliant. He was just. He apologised profusely. He was, unfortunately, I didn't feel that there was really an offence, maybe some public order.
Yeah.
But I was able to keep him there at the side of the road while I checked him out for any warrants, while I took his car apart to make sure that was roadworthy.
You kept him there for as long as possible?
Yes.
Oh, naughty Mick. Naughty!
You know, I was only doing my job.
How cool is that? Just putting on the policeman's helmet and stepping out of the car. Mick, listen, while I've got you on, we were talking earlier on to Claire Armstrong, who's from the campaign Scrap Speed Cameras. She wants get rid of speed cameras because she thinks that they make the roads more dangerous, and she wants more traffic coppers. What are your thoughts on that as an ex-copper?
I agree. I worked around Perry Bar Aston. In the 90s, there was a lot of street crime. The area was flooded with police, and the street crime dropped because police were there. It's the same with speeding. If there's lots of police about visible in cars, with the cameras at the side of the roads warning people, it will drop.
But doesn't that have the same? Doesn't that have the same effect? Excuse me, as the speed cameras? Is that when you see a speed camera or you see a copper with a hairdryer, you slow down for that bit, and then when you're round the bend, boom, you're off again.
Yeah, but the trouble is with the policeman doing it, you don't know. You learn where speed cameras are. I would learn where they are. I slow down where there's a speed camera and then, probably go a bit quicker than I should do in other areas. But with these mobile ones that move, you never know when they're going to be there.
Yeah.
So you always drive in the speed limit in the places where you've seen them in the past.
I'm aware because some of the cab companies I use, they have those what are they called, road angel things, where it pings when you are near one of the yellow speed cameras. And someone was telling me this week there are more advanced versions of those that are apparently illegal, that they either can detect when there's like a portable speed camera set up by a copper, or they can even block the signal or something.
Maybe it's just. I would have thought it's obstructing the police officer.
Oh, yeah.
I see why it would be illegal.
Yeah.
But, I think the mobile ones... I've been caught by a mobile one myself, and it taught me a lesson. I did my driving awareness course, and I just think that's a much better deterrent than these things that are on the side of the road that everyone knows about.
I would agree with you. I last year did the speed awareness course. Boy, I enjoyed it so much that I got 3 points just a few weeks later. That's how much attention I paid. Mick, thank you very much indeed. What a great way to end a road rage incident. Fella gets out of his car, strides towards him. Mick gets out, puts his police helmet on. Yes, can I help you, sir? Fantastic. On the subject of road rage, it's Victor. Morning, Victor.
Oh, hi, Ian. How you doing?
I'm getting a little frog in my throat, Victor. I hope it's not the sign of things I hope I haven't picked up a cough from someone. That would be awful. But let's see how we carry on, shall we?
Yeah.
Go on, what have you got for me?
Right. There was a day I took my car in for the MOT test. So I had to get my dad's car to drive for the day. And there was this guy with a new car. It was one of the new models. And he was speeding, trying to overtake everyone on, a single lane.
Yeah.
So he clipped my mirror and broke the mirror. So I was thinking, I'm late for work. I was just going to keep on driving, fix the mirror in a scrapyard because the car wasn't brand new, so it would be cheaper anyway. But about 1 or 2 minutes after, I saw him in my mirror flashing and trying to overtake me. So I pulled up on the side, only for him to come down, and I rolled down my windows, and I said to him, "You need to fix my mirror because you were driving on the wrong side of the road." And he said to me, "Well, you need to come and fix my own mirror." I said, "No, I'm not doing nothing because you were on the wrong side of the road." So he got a bit aggressive, and I got out of the car because there was no way for me to move because of where I parked. So obviously it was bigger than me, but he was trying to push me and stuff like that. Eventually, I had to just, deal with him pretty much, and he was on the floor. But I think he was a bit embarrassed. So.
Hang on a minute. How did he end up on the floor?
Well,
you kung fu'd him.
After he pushed me and, he tried to hit me, it was pretty much self-defense, so I just basically knocked him out.
What? Flippin' heck.
And then...
This is taking a dark twist. Go on.
Well, it's just self-defense, because I didn't do anything. I didn't touch him.
But then you knocked him out, yes.
Yeah. He got up. I think he was embarrassed, so he drove off the road. He was swearing and saying, I'm going to kill you, this and that.
Yeah.
He drove up the road, and I tried to start my car, because in the process of fighting, the black thing on the key on the key is come off, and the car wouldn't start anymore.
Aye.
I was kind of like stuck. So I was calling my dad to say, bring my car back. I'm going to drive my car just like that and sort the MOT out the next day, because I was running late for work.
Yeah.
And I saw him coming back again while I was on the phone, and this time he came back with a bottle, and he threw it from the other side of the where he parked next to me.
Yeah.
Because he was coming back facing me this time.
Yeah.
And the bottle, I think he was trying to aim for me, but then he hit the car and dented the whole door again. And then I got out again and say, look, because I couldn't drive off, I was there. So it's either I come out and try to make a run for it just in case. So he came out, and then we had the second round, and people just basically separated the whole thing.
Yes.
But after that, someone said to me, I saw a policeman, and I reported to him saying, look, someone just attacked me, and, we got into a bit of scuffle. And he said, go to the nearest police station and report. I went there saying, look, this was happened, and someone has damaged my mirror, and I've been told to report this. But when I got there, I was told he's been there before me, saying I attacked him.
Oh,
and,
he got him first, Victor! He owned you!
Yeah, so they locked me up for the day. Eventually, they released me saying no charge, but they wasted my time.
Yeah.
And, my work, obviously,
Victor, with the greatest respect, you did knock a man out.
Well, I don't know what he was going to do. I was alone, and, I had to do what I had to do, because it was pretty much in self-defense.
Yes.
And that's what I had to tell the police, because in his statement to the police, he didn't even say he attacked me with a bottle. He didn't say anything. He just said, I got out of my car, and I attacked him, and he was showing them all sorts of signs and whatever on his head. So that was it, pretty much.
Victor, thank you very much indeed. What's Victor? Thank you. I just have to say, because this is the BBC, this is what we have to say. We don't condone any violence or any fighting or things like that. Is that how the law works? If you get in first, the other person gets arrested, whatever happens. Is that how it works? I think it must be. 03453 009956. We're hearing horrific stories of road rage. Fist fights, bottles being chucked at each other, satellite dishes being used as shields. As shields? Mavis is in Coventry. Mavis, you've called in about something far more sedate than fighting.
Sedate, but at least we're getting back to normal, I think.
Yes, I think so, Mavis. Thank you.
Right, you were talking about men doing ironing.
Yeah.
My youngest son, well, he's trained to be a priest now, but he was in the Air Training Corps. And when it was Armistice Day, he was escorted to the colour because he was very tall, which still is very tall. And he said, can I borrow your ironing board, Mum? Yes, you can. And he'd spent hours ironing his trousers and getting the crease right and his shirt. And I felt so proud of him because he just did it.
Did he? Because there is a knack to ironing. Did he do it? Did he do it well?
The knack. Yeah. Well, his father was in the Navy actually, so he wore the 7 Seas, whatever they call it, in his trousers. But obviously, I think he may have got it from his father because I had 2 boys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think they were taught. You see, my husband actually, there were 5 boys in his family, no girls, so they were used to doing ironing. So I couldn't expect the mother to do the blooming lot.
Well, be honest though, Mavis. You do enjoy the ironing, don't you?
Yes, I do.
You get pleasure from it.
It relaxes you.
Thank you. At last, this is what I've been saying. That women find ironing very relaxing. It's kind of like meditation. It's
That's right. And you can listen to the wireless, and you can just let the world go by, and you feel great after it.
Right. Let's see if I've got this right, because I've started ironing my shirts after the last couple of weeks. Okay, I didn't used to be an ironer. As I'm getting older, I want to improve my appearance. This is the order in which I iron a shirt, Mavis. Have I got this right? Okay. I start with the collar.
Yes.
Then I move on to the cuff of the right sleeve, and then I do the right sleeve.
Yes.
Then the cuff of the left sleeve, I do the left sleeve.
Yes.
I do the back.
Yes.
And then I do the front bits.
Yes.
Is that the right order?
Well, that's it. That's as far as I'm concerned, because I used to have iron my husband's shirts. But yes, I mean, and apart from that, it becomes a ritual.
Yep.
You know.
I still find
Not being big-headed.
No, listen, good for you. And I bet you're a fan of starch as well.
Yes, I used to. My dad was a station master, and they wore loose starch collars. And guess who did them when she was on holiday from school?
Good for you,
Me.
Mavis. Good for you. Kids these days, young people these days, and by young people I mean people under the age of, let's say, 45.
Right.
They don't know what starch is. They don't know how wonderful starch can be when it comes to ironing shirts.
Yeah, and you see, I use space starch as well, but I still use, and don't laugh, Robin starch. I make your own.
Rubbing starch?
Yeah.
When do you rub it in?
No, you mix it.
Oh.
And spray it on, or if it's collars, then you put them in, don't have a lot of water in it, but put it in that and then iron it.
And then, when you're drying your clothes, Mavis, do you still use the mangle?
No, I'm afraid.
The mangle's gone, is it?
Well, unfortunately, yes. But it was a damn good exercise. You could lose weight on that.
It will give you a very strong arm, Mavis. Thank you very much indeed. Honestly, people under 45, you don't know what you're missing. Starch. Oh, man. If I iron a smart shirt, if I'm wearing a suit, which I do occasionally, and I iron the shirt, and I can get it perfect, as soon as I put that shirt on, literally within 15 seconds, it's creased and it's all over the place. A little bit of the spray starch all over the bad boy. That shirt is going to stay smooth and crisp for the rest of the weekend. That is going nowhere. It makes such a difference. And well done, Mavis. Okay, Mavis has been the first woman this morning who's agreed with what we all know is the truth. Okay, women enjoy the housework. Women enjoy ironing. She finds it relaxing. It is, for women, like a meditation. It's like sitting there and going om for an hour. It's like doing a little bit of TM. It's like going on a journey into your mind. It's relaxing. You put on a bit of Corrie, bit of Emmerdale. The time flies by. An hour and a half later, you look to your left, it's empty. You look to your right, there's a whole stack of ironed T-shirts and shirts on hangers, all looking crisp and new. And that's wonderful, and you find that relaxing. And there's no shame in saying that you find it relaxing. That's the thing. You've kind of been brainwashed into... The gender stereotypical roles are sort of there for a reason, I genuinely think this, okay? And we've been brainwashed into thinking, hey, man, let's all... Hey, I'm a guy. I'm gonna cook the dinner. I'm gonna do the housework because I'm a guy, and we do it, and it's fine. But it doesn't have the same physiological impact on us. Am I getting carried away with myself? Possibly. But you know, deep down, that's the case. Was it Molly we spoke to earlier on, who her youngest son, her baby, he's 40. Still stays at home. She will not let him cook or wash a thing. Her husband goes out and earns the money. He comes home, she cooks, she cleans, she does everything. Now, while I would never completely go along with that, isn't there a part of you, dear listener, isn't there a part of you, gentlemen, that kind of thinks, oh, yeah, you know what, actually, that kind of sounds quite nice. I could live with that. 03453 009956 is the telephone number. You can text 81333, start your text WM, or you can send me an email, ian.lee@bbc.co.uk. It's BBC WM 95.6. Let's get the travel news now. Here's Liz.
Thank you very much, Ian. As you make your way onto the M6, not looking too bad currently, but you've still got the problems around Dudley Port and Dudley. The A457 shut both ways between the A461 and Cletton Street while emergency repairs continue. You're having to follow a diversion. It is looking a bit busy now. And in Dudley, Hollyhall Road also still shut both ways for emergency repairs between Norfolk Road and Suffolk Road. A collapsed sewer means there's still restrictions in on Tiverton Road in Selly Oak around Bristol Road. And as you head through Selly Oak, it's still looking a bit busy on the A38. Congested in Handsworth on Soho Road as well. Not too bad, though, on the M5 through the roadworks, which continue between 4A and 6. That's through the M42 interchange and the Droitwich exit. If you can update us, call BBC WM 95.6 Travel 08453 002288.
Hunted. We're heading towards Sandwell Valley Country Park.
I'm running across the car park now.
We're going to take you over to our high ropes course. Jill, what do you want to say to Debbie?
Oh, good luck, Debbie. Fly like a bird, girl, and beat the voice.
Oh, my word! I'm going! Oh, my word! Oh! I can't believe I've just done that!
Oh, well done, Debbie.
Hunted. With Richard Wilford.
This Sunday morning from 9. BBC WM.
95.6.
Oh, nuts. You know that thing when you've been playing with a red pen for the whole first hour and 45 minutes of the show, and then you've got red hand because it turns out the pen's quite leaky and you're stained? You know, it looks like stigmata. You know that? Well, that's what I've got. Gordon, stay there. We'll come to you in a second. It's Doreen first. Morning, Doreen.
Morning, Ian.
You like the housework, don't you?
I don't like housework, but I love ironing.
Well, now, why is there this separation?
I don't like vacuum. I don't mind anything to do with water, scrubbing floors.
What?
But I don't like vacuum cleaning and polishing.
Why don't you like... No, see,
don't know.
The polishing, I like the polishing, because you can see the results.
Anything to do with water, I don't mind.
So you get on your hands and knees in the kitchen...
I'd scrub the kitchen floor rather than I would...
and give it a good scrub, good going over.
I love water. And I'd like to know where that woman gets a rubbing starch from. I can't get it. I starch all my pillow slips. And I've got some cotton sheets. They're going a bit thin, but they haven't worn out. And I'll give them a thin piece, a bit of starch as well.
I hadn't thought about starching the sheets. That's a fantastic idea.
You know, just give them that crisp edge.
Little crisp edge. Because young people,
when it's hot weather,
45 and under, they don't know what starch is. They don't know how to use it.
I have phoned up about road rage.
Oh, go on, Doreen. Do you get angry on the road?
A few years ago, I never drove, but my husband did.
Yeah.
And do you know Birmingham well? Do you know where the villa is?
I know exactly where the villa is.
The bridge.
Yeah.
Used to be a little Lloyd's Bank on IMI ground.
Okay.
And there's a pedestrian crossing there. Me, my husband and daughter had been in the bank, and we came out and we waited for a car to stop on the crossing.
Yeah.
The car stopped, and we could hear this car, and we could hear the noise he was making, and we started to cross and we stopped because we didn't think he was going to stop the speed he was coming down. Then he pulled up all brakes right next to this car, and it was summer. And we were going to the car park opposite where we parked the car. And the windows was down. And my husband just turned round and said to the chap who was driving the car, he said, "Didn't you know you're not supposed to overtake on a pedestrian crossing?" That's all he said. And he walked in. And the next thing when we were on the car park, the chap was behind us and he was going to punch my husband. He hit him, but my husband backed away and he cut all his face with his nails. Now, my husband wasn't a vicious type. I could say he was a real gentleman.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't vicious-natured. And but my daughter was screaming and people come, and he did go away eventually. But he was real. That's all my husband said to him, and he never said it. He never shouted or nothing. He just said, very polite. He said, "Didn't you know you're supposed to overtake on a pedestrian crossing?" Because he
the fella lost it.
Overtaking, really.
How long ago was this, Doreen?
It's been a few years ago.
Because we like to think of road rage as kind of a modern phenomenon, don't we?
No, this is over 20 years.
Really?
Yeah.
It must have been terrifying for you.
Well, yeah, because my husband, he wasn't a vicious person. You know, some people, I'll punch you. He wasn't that type at all. Everybody he's dead and gone now, but everybody knew him, always said he was a real gentleman.
I have seen people effing and jeffing and beeping
over nothing.
Over nothing. I've seen them doing it to mums with kids in the back of the car.
Yeah, I know.
Or here's another thing. I've seen people.
I think is it in the food you eat?
Well, I've seen another thing. I've seen someone acting out road rage, being angry and swearing, and they've got kids in the back of their car.
Yeah.
And you think, what are those poor children learning from that ridiculous parent?
If it's done deliberately, you know, but they never think anybody can do something, even on the road, accidental, as long as you haven't caused any damage or anything. Does it matter?
What and why do
we don't see people stop now? You know, to let you in. You do get a few, and, you know, everybody used to raise their hand. I mean, although I wasn't a driver, I can remember being in my husband's car, and people would say, yeah, come in, you know. But the people today, oh, no, don't let them get in. You know, I don't know.
Doreen, listen.
I see we live in, I think.
Doreen, calm down. Go and do a bit of ironing and scrub the kitchen floor. Go and enjoy your Saturday. That's what it's all about. Thank you. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen blokes, and it is blokes, isn't it? Only once have I been in a road rage incident with a woman. I was in the right. There were two lanes where you could turn right, and she thought that I couldn't turn right in my lane. I could. It was a lane I turned right in every single night. There was an arrow indicating that, and she went nuts. But it is a male thing, isn't it? It's predominantly a male thing to have a go. It's getting your bits out, isn't it, and slapping them on the table. That's what you're doing, really. That's what you're doing. Is you're waving your bits in the air. 03453 009956 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call on that. Gordon's in Dudley. Morning, Gordon.
Good morning, Iain. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you very much. I'm horrified by some of these stories I'm hearing.
Yeah, well, I'm only phoning about the guy who was locked up for the night by the police and then released.
This was the fella who he got into
who knocked the guy out.
The fella who knocked the guy out. That was it. Yes.
Right. Now then, can you answer me this question on the law? If somebody attacks you, are you allowed or are you not allowed to defend yourself?
I believe you are allowed to defend yourself with reasonable force.
Well, that's exactly what the bloke done. In my opinion, he defended himself and he said, right, the guy attacked me, bang, I got the first one in, he's hit the deck, wallop, it's all over, it's sleeping. Right?
You describe it so well. Yes, go on.
But at the end of the day, that guy went to the cop and said, well, this geezer assaulted me, he knocked me out. Well, if he'd knocked him out that bad, he must have been the bloody fast recovery.
Is this how it works with the police? Whoever tells the story first is believed?
Well, no, not really, because the police has to hold an investigation.
Yeah.
And then they go for witnesses.
Yeah.
And if there's no witnesses, it's a 50-50. Oh, hang on. This is going to be a waste of time in court.
Gordon.
Because the first thing the solicitors will do is say, well, where's the witnesses?
Yeah.
Where's the evidence? Where's the CCTV evidence? There ain't none. Well, you ain't got a case, mate. End of story.
Gordon, can I ask you a question that's linked to this?
Go on.
Have you ever punched someone with all of your strength?
Yes.
When and why?
I've been out dancing, and this guy had a few babies.
Yeah.
Admittedly.
Good for you.
Well, I was on my way home.
Yeah.
I was on my way home.
Who's telling you to keep your voice down?
That's the wife.
Oh, tell her to keep her voice down. Tell her to keep...
Go on, sorry.
Tell her to keep her voice down.
Oh, well, you know what women are like when they start rabbiting. They don't mean to stop.
Gordon, I don't want to say you're under the thumb, but man alive, it sounds like you're under the thumb there.
No, mate, because it's my ex-wife, and I take no notice.
Oh, good for you. Well done. So go on, you'd had a few bevies, you've been out dancing.
Well, I was walking up, and this guy attacked me. He went at me for another pound moves. I don't know where he come from, but he ran at me.
Yeah.
And I defended myself, so I smacked him, bump. He went down, no witnesses, I walked across. And that was the end of it. I heard no more.
Because I have never, ever punched someone with my full force, either in self-defence or anger or anything. I've been punched and I've been kicked and I've kind of stood there and took it, and I don't know what it feels like to punch someone. What did it feel like, Gordon?
Well, to me, I thought to myself, I said, well, was that necessarily good? Why don't you just walk out the way and let him run past her?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he attacked me. And like you said, by law, you are allowed to defend yourself.
A little bit of the old SD.
Within reasonable force.
Gordon, thank you very much indeed. I don't want to say... it's just one of those things I've never done. Here's a list of things I've never done that I sort of wish I had, but I don't want to do. I've never punched someone with full force. I don't think I could. I've never broken a bone. I've never... It would hurt, I know karate. I've never even broken a bone. Those are two things that are kind of on my list of things that everyone should do at some point. I'm probably never going to do it. I'm being told that Bernie on the phones and producer Joe have never broken bones either, yet they have punched someone with full force. 03453 009956. The thing about breaking the bone is, because when when the kid at school broke their bone, they were like a hero for the day. If they fell off the climbing frame, they were a hero because an ambulance came, they got taken out, they came back a week later with a plaster cast and you'd all sign it. They know what it feels like to break a bone. I'm terrified now. I'm really terrified that I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be out with the kids and I'm gonna fall off the climbing frame or something, and it's gonna break because that's gonna hurt, isn't it? That is really gonna hurt. Going off on a complete tangent. I've got no idea why. Let's go to Anne in Edgbaston. Morning, Anne.
Hello, Lee. How lovely to speak to you.
It's lovely to speak to you,
I'm
Edgbaston.
really excited that I'm speaking to the famous Iain Lee.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm excited I'm speaking to Anne from Edgbaston. It's a great day for all of us.
Good. Anyway, I've just finished the ironing, OK? My husband's gone to golf, a typical Italian, doesn't do anything around the house. So I wait on him hand or foot. But anyway, the reason I'm ringing you is a bit about a road rage. About 20 years ago.
Yeah, go on.
I used to take my children to dancing classes, and I was on my way home, and I accidentally, unwillingly cut somebody up, and he overtook me, put his brakes on in the middle of the road and stopped and made me brake behind him. Anyway, he came out and he started to tug at the door. Luckily, they were locked, and I got my son and my daughter in the back, who were 6 and 8 at the time.
Yeah.
And I reversed and then drove on, and I nearly went over his feet. But anyway, what I did, he followed me all the way around Edgbaston.
And you had your two little kids in the back?
I had my 2 children. I've just been to pick them up from dancing school.
Oh.
And what I thought was, right, I know where Ladywood Police Station is.
Yeah.
So I drove to the police station, into the car park. As soon as he saw that, he drove away.
Of course he did.
Yeah.
Of course he did. What a coward.
But it was a frightening experience, and in those days I had one of these cars that weren't central locking.
Oh.
So I told the children, lock your doors quickly.
Oh, dear.
And, my daughter started to cry because he was tugging at the driver's side of the door. But luckily, quick thinking, I thought, right, I'll go to the police station. And he followed me. As soon as he realised that I'd turned into the police station, he disappeared.
Well, listen, while I don't condone any of these acts, and certainly not the more violent ones, I mean, you shout at another bloke in the car, yeah, OK, I can kind of see that. Yeah. But to go up to a woman with 2 little kiddies in the back and try and get in, that's awful.
I must have been in the wrong, but unwillingly, sometimes you just come out in the middle of the road thinking you're going to make it.
Yeah.
And I accidentally did cut him
well,
off,
then
it was unwillingly.
Let him beep you and let him flash you and you move on. To do that is just nuts.
No.
And sorry, did you say your husband's an Italian?
He is, and he's playing golf at the moment.
So
he's a golf mad man.
I'm guessing he does absolutely nothing around the house.
Nothing. He won't even empty or load the dishwasher. If I'm not very well, then he'll wash up, but I have to tidy up after him. There's more water on the floor.
I use the dishwasher at home more than my wife. I'm not a fan of dishwashers. I don't think but my wife's half Greek. So when we go out to Greece to see the family, they are surprised. I mean, my boys are a little bit older now, but they were surprised
that you help out.
They couldn't believe it that I changed the baby's nappies.
That's right. Well,
they thought it was outrageous.
Yeah, and we go regularly. And he still doesn't do anything, and, I have to
And I've got to say, because when you go there, you've got all the aunts, and they do all the cooking and all the food, and you'll be sat there watching, Iain, would you like an omelette? Yeah, go on, why not? And if you offer to help or offer to clean up or anything...
No, you stay there.
They won't let you. And for the first couple of days I'm out there, I feel all kind of middle class and British and embarrassed. By day 3, I'm loving it.
Yeah, exactly.
I am absolutely loving it.
Yeah, you can get used to anything, Iain.
And I think you can. Honestly, I love it, and it's terrible because we're brought up to let's all help each other, and there are no gender-specific roles in the household, and we do what we want to do, and it's all fine, and it's great. Diana, stay there. I'm going to come to you after the news, if that's okay, because I know you've got a really good story, and I want to get the full story. So stay there if you don't mind. But we're taught to we all help each other, and we all do what we're supposed to do to help. But when you're treated like that, when you go back to those old roles, I really enjoyed it. Iain, would you like an omelette? I've just had lunch. Yeah, go and have an omelette. I'll do an omelette and some chips. Yeah, okay. Do you want me to clean up? No, you sit there. Don't worry. 03. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm an old sexist pig at heart. I'm an old sexy pig at heart. 03 453 009956 is the... What a mix. We've done Sudan, we've done religion, we've done road rage, we've done Italian men being lazy. If you want to take part, there's an hour left of the show. Now's an excellent time to give us a call. 03453 009956. I'm genuinely shocked by these road rage stories that are coming out. What horrible, terrifying incidents. I mean, that last one, that poor woman in the car with her 2 kids, 6 and 8 in the back. Some nut job's trying to get in. Give us a call with your stories. We'll be talking about, well, fat women after the news. I know. Are we too hard on larger people? Should we just let them get on with it? Let them, that's what they want to do. Let them do it.
The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
BBC WM 95.6.
It's 11 o'clock exactly. Let's get the latest news now with Nicole Pullman.
The father of a 6-year-old British boy trapped in Syria has asked the government to help him escape the conflict. Muadaz Zain, who was born in Birmingham, moved to Syria with his mother after his parents split up 3.5 years ago. The Foreign Office has said it's aware of the situation and is offering advice and assistance to the family, but said its ability to assist British nationals was becoming more limited as the war continued. Muadaz's father, Wael Zain, who works for a financial services company in London, says his son is traumatised.
I can't begin to describe what he's seen, basically. I mean, his uncle, his favourite uncle, when he was with him, he was struck with a large shrapnel in the face. He's seen bodies, screams, blood, the sound of explosions on a daily basis for the last, at least a year now. Recently, he's stopped speaking, basically. He's just saying a few words here and there.
A fixer who organised sham weddings has been jailed for 5 years by a judge at Wolverhampton Crown Court. 27-year-old Mohammed Wajid Akhtar admitted 11 charges and another 10 were taken into account. 6 of the fake brides and 2 of the grooms were also jailed. 125 years of tyre manufacture in Erdington in Birmingham has officially ended. Workers at Dunlop did their last shift yesterday because production is being moved overseas. The Erdington Labour MP Jack Dromey says the company could have stayed in Birmingham, but they chose not to.
They've never put up an argument. They've always said that they wanted to stay if they could. 18 months ago, I worked with the council, with government, to carve out an alternative option for them. They could have stayed in Birmingham if they'd have wanted to.
It's emerged that one of the world's biggest golf stars, Phil Mickelson, is being investigated by the FBI for possible insider trading. Mickelson, who won the Open at Muirfield last year, bought shares in a cleaning products company in 2011, just before a billionaire investor revealed plans for a takeover bid. His lawyer insists he's not being investigated. More details from Julian Vaccari.
Phil Mickelson is one of America's most widely admired sporting heroes, sublimely gifted yet approachable and courteous to his adoring fans. Sources in the United States say the FBI and Wall Street officials are looking into whether Mickelson and a leading Las Vegas gambler, Billy Walters, bought shares in a company after being tipped off that it was about to be taken over. The investigation is focused on suspicious share trading just days before the investor Carl Icahn announced a bid to acquire the company Clorox in 2011. Mr. Icahn said that during a 50-year career, he'd never divulged insider information.
And finally, a California man has returned a bag containing $125,000 after seeing it fall out the back of a security van in the city of Fresno. Joe Cornell, who's 52, said, "Everything was going through my mind, the good devil, bad devil thing." However, he decided to return the cash and was given a $5,000 reward. The weather, a mostly dry and rather cloudy day, but there will be some sunshine and isolated showers in the afternoon. The top temperature, 19 Celsius, 66 Fahrenheit. BBC WM 95.6 News. There's more online at bbc.co.uk/WM.
The Voice. The Voice. The Voice. The Voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
You should take in other religions and treat them as you would want to be treated yourself.
We are even more intelligent. They treated me with the utmost respect.
Iain Lee, Saturdays
9 till 12.
Wowzers.
BBC WM 95.6.
So Joe Cornell, 52, he returns a bag with $125,000. What? Come on, guys. It's $125,000. You... Could you do that? I suppose... yeah, hang on. I work for the BBC. Of course I'd do that. We can put that out there. Has that ever happened to you? Not that you found a bag with 125,000. It's the wallet on the floor scenario, isn't it? I've done that, where I found a wallet stuffed full of cash. And, I handed it in. Yeah, I handed it in. I handed it in at the train station. I'm sure those guys went out for a massive booze up that night. If you've ever done that, if you've ever found a wallet, what happened? Maybe you lost a bag of cash or a wallet or something valuable. Was it returned? Are people more honest than we think? And what's the going rate for a reward? $5,000, pretty good reward, I think. I'd be happy with that. I remember years ago, I found some guy's wallet and there was cash in there and there were bank cards and everything, and I was 16, 17. I got in touch with the bank. I've been brought up proper, innit? I got in touch with the bank. I found Mr. Jones's wallet and his stuff. Would you like? This is my phone number. If you want to give it to him. He phoned up later that day. Oh, thank you so much. Is the money in there? The money's all. Is the driver? Everything's in there. I gave him my address. He came round. There was about 100 quid in there. £1 reward. £1 reward. Wow. 1%. What's the going rate for a reward? I reckon about 5% at least, isn't it? 03453 009956. We can talk about honesty, we can talk about road rage, we can talk about women enjoying the housework. And could you renounce your religion? This story that's on the front page of a lot of the papers. Leaders join fight to save Miriam. It's a Sudanese woman who's going to be executed because she won't renounce her Christianity. I'm not a man of faith. Surely, is it not just a case of going, Jesus? No, I don't know who that is. Who do you believe in? Oh, Allah. Yeah, no, he's my favourite too as well. Is it as simple as that? Could you renounce your faith if your life depended on it? Very sad story. I'd love to get your thoughts. Iain.lee@bbc.co.uk. You can send me a text, 81333, start your text WM, or give me a phone call. It's the best way to do these things, isn't it? The last 55 minutes of the show. 03453 009956.
Have your say.
Across the West Midlands, call
03453 009956.
BBC WM 95.6.
Diana, you've been very patient. It's appreciated. What would you like to say?
Hello, Iain.
Morning.
Very nice to talk to you.
Thank you very much. Nice to talk to you too.
Back in 1984...
Yep.
I was in Shirley, Stafford Road. I don't know if you know, just before the Saracen's Head, there's a crossing to go to Abbey National Bank, which is where I was going to go. It was a Friday afternoon. I'd finished work, and a bus had pulled up on the inside lane. The lights were green for me to go, so I started walking across. And this car just come, whizzing down the road like anything, over his bonnet. Oh, I flattened his bonnet. My head went through his windscreen.
Oh, my gosh.
And then all he could say, "You've ruined my weekend."
Flippin' heck, really?
Yes.
He had the cheek to have a go at you.
Cross my heart. I was off to see my girlfriend, and now I can't. I'm trying not to use the.
I know, and it's appreciated. I'm enjoying the noise you're making as well for swears. Good for you.
Well, just trying to be manners.
Thank you very much. Was he a young fella?
Yes.
And your head went through his windscreen.
Yes. Fortunately, I was a biggish built girl, and. Right. All it did really was badly bruised me, and...
Did you go to... I'm assuming you went to hospital?
Oh, yes. Yeah. But, it's made me very, very wary of crossings ever since.
Even now, 30 years later?
Yes, love, yes.
Do you know what? I've had a couple of stories today, Diana, that have had an impact that they don't normally have on me. I'm speechless. I've got no... I can think of no logical reaction to that gentleman's behaviour. That's incredible.
Well, as I say, road rage was round then as well. So.
It's not a common phenomenon. It's been around for a long time. And you're you're apart from some bruising because you're a big girl. You're well and healthy, are you? After all of that?
No, No, I'm not actually. It's given me arthritis in my hands and in my knees. But never mind. I mean, that's
Well, Diana, listen, I appreciate your story. Thank you very much. And for producer Joe, who just walked in at the last moment, as I was saying, because you're a big girl, she said that first. Producer Joe walked in and gave me a look as if, why are you saying she's a big girl? She said it first. She said that her body cushioned the blow ever so slightly. So road rage is not a modern phenomenon. We kind of like to think of it as the last 10, 15 years. But it turns out it's been going on for years and years. 30 years ago that happened. Ryan is in Hales Owen. Morning, Ryan.
Hey, Ian. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right, Ryan. What would you like to say?
I've got a story about road rage for you.
Yeah, go on. Turn your radio off, Ryan.
Sorry, I've pulled over. I'm driving.
That's all right. Is your radio off?
1 second. Yeah, it is.
OK, go on then. Otherwise it gets a bit confusing. Go on, give us your story.
Is that better?
That's much better.
I actually had someone pull a screwdriver on me and threaten to stab me.
I'm laughing because I wasn't expecting that. What happened? What led to that threat of murder?
I was working for the NHS at the time, and he accused me of pulling out at an island on him in a big Luton van I was driving at the time. But the road was clear and he was speeding.
Yeah.
He followed me for a mile, or about 2 miles it was, and knocked on my cab window, started shouting expletives. So I just, as you do, I stayed in the van, locked all the doors.
Yes, as if anybody's going to get out at that, when someone starts to, hey, I'll come out and discuss this with you nut job.
Yeah, so he walked off, and I got out the van to carry on my deliveries. He was in his car about to drive off, and he decided to get out of his car again. Oh. And then came right up into my face and pulled a screwdriver on me.
How terrifying was that?
It was, but I'm not the smallest people.
Right.
But if he'd gone to attack me, I would have defended myself.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
I've had the being followed in the car, and that is very unsettling, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But I gotta say, the police was a waste of space, if I'm honest.
Why? You gave them a call, did you?
Yeah, I gave them a call, reported it. They wouldn't come out to where I was or anything. I had to go to the station to give a statement.
Oh, nice.
Or anything. Then they said, we'll pass it on to our investigation people. I got a text the next day saying they wasn't taking it any further.
Oh, that's nice of the police to follow up a threat of murder, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good for those guys.
I wouldn't have minded if they'd phoned me, though.
Yeah.
It was just a text message to say we won't be investigating it anymore.
Ryan, thank you very much. It's like dumping someone by text, isn't it? Yeah, it's not working out. It's finished. Beep, beep. 03453 009956. So, I'm driving on the motorway. I think it's the M1, and there is a truck driver, a lorry driver. And he thinks I'm going too slow. Because I'm doing 60. Sometimes I do 60 on the motorway to save petrol. If I'm in no rush, I'll do 60. I'll save a few quid on petrol. He thought I was going too slow. So he's beeping me and he's flashing me and he's giving me all this kind of jip. And I'm yeah, whatever. And then he pulls up beside me and he's kind of flicking the V's. And yes, I may have responded with an aggressive finger gesture. I may have done. I may have used an American hand gesture to him. I don't know. But then he starts pointing to the hard shoulder. I think, what's he doing there? He starts pointing to the hard shoulder, then making a fist sign. And I realise he wants to have a fight with me. He wants me to pull off onto the hard shoulder of the M1, get out of my car, and have a fight. Well, listen, man, I'm a lover, not a fighter. So I didn't. And then he pulls in front of me and he slows down and he's slowing down to like 40 miles an hour. So I go and overtake him and it all gets very, very silly. And I realise this isn't going to stop. So he's still pointing to the hard shoulder, making the fight and doing the international sign of, come on then, do you want some? And I went, yeah, OK. I start mouthing, yeah, OK, let's have a fight. Really over the top, right? And he's thinking, sweet, we're in now. And so he pulls on to the hard shoulder. I indicate to pull onto the hard shoulder. And then when he stopped his vehicle, boom, I'm off. I drive off and I escape from him. No, I'm not. It was terrifying. It was a terrifying experience. A lorry driver signalling he wants to have a punch-up on the hard shoulder. There are some... what I'm learning from life and from this show today, both are very similar, there are some real fruitcakes out there, aren't there? Some real nut jobs who just don't have any kind of boundaries. 03453 009956. Nigel will get your story in a bit. Also, this story about the Californian man who returned a bag containing $125,000. What's that? Oh, it's only about 90 grand. He returned it. He got $5,000 back as a reward, which I think is pretty tasty. Has this ever happened to you? I'd be surprised if we found anybody who'd found or lost that much money. Have you lost a wallet? Or a purse, or a bag, and a good Samaritan has got back in touch with you? It happened to me in Sweden, actually, when I was visiting my brother-in-law. Some people found my wallet, and they phoned me up and said, we got your wallet. And they'd Googled me, and they saw that I worked in television and radio. And we went round to get it. And I think they thought, because of my job, I think they thought I was a swinger or something, that I was a little bit free and easy. Because it was this weird kind of couple. And they saw there was a real tension in the air, and they sort of invited me in. I was like, I'm all right, thanks. And then they said, we're going to a club. Do you want to come to a club with us? I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to take the wallet, and ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I'll say good night. 03453 009956. Your stories of lost and found, please. It's BBC WM 95.6. Let's get the travel news with Liz Saul.
Iain, thank you. Still problems with the closure of the A457 at Dudley Port between the A461 and Cletton Street. Emergency repairs being carried out to a water main. And in Dudley, Hollyhall Road is shut for emergency repairs between Norfolk Road and Suffolk Road. So expect congestion all around those two places with the restrictions in place. Still restrictions in Selly Oak on Tiverton Road at Bristol Road because of a sewer which has collapsed, and it's looking a bit congested around there, and also on the A38 close by. The M6 going south is struggling now in the bottom end of the roadworks around Junction 10, the A454 at Wolverhampton and Walsall exit. You'll find it's not looking too bad currently on the A45 around Sheldon as you head into Birmingham through towards Bawdsley Circus. Also seems to be okay. If you can update us, call BBC WM 95.6 Travel 08453 002288.
I tell you what, my gaffer may be listening to this. The voice of the West Midlands.
Yeah, this is Danny Kelly, the best Midland voice, the best Midland...
Danny Kelly.
Monday to Friday, 2 till 4. The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
BBC WM
95.6.
We're all feeling a little bit tired today. There's a real air of lethargy at BBC WM 95.6. I'm hoping when Noreen comes in. Noreen's on at midday, isn't she? So hoping when she comes, I hope she's got the energy. She can, kind of lift. We're all just kind of sat here going, oh, dearie, mate. Nigel, are you picking up on our kind of tired vibe?
Well, sort of, yeah. I don't know why, though. I mean, I think it's a good day today. It isn't raining, so...
But you can hear that we're all a bit tired at WM, can you?
Yeah, I noticed that. It's not like the normal show.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. There's something in the air. I don't know. I feel like I've been drugged or something.
I think it's to do with all this road rage. People getting fed up with road rage and things.
Maybe that's what's bringing us on a downer. Maybe for the last 40 minutes, Nigel, we need to do something uplifting that will raise our spirits and help us celebrate the wonder of being alive.
Well, that's true, yeah.
Any ideas?
I don't know. There's some could do with coming out, I think.
Yeah, that's what we need. I thought it was supposed to be hot today.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, isn't it? But it's still warm, but it's not hot as it's supposed to be.
The warmth doesn't count if it's cloudy. We've got to see the sunshine. We need to see the sunshine, don't we?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Nigel, you've been involved in a road rage incident. What happened?
It was about 10 years ago. What it was is I was driving, because I'm originally from Stoke, you see, so I was driving through Stoke and come up to a roundabout. A car cut me off. So, of course, you pick the horn and, a few gestures, or an idiot sort of thing. I pulled across the roundabout. He slammed his brakes on in front of me, so I tried to go round him, and it was on a dual carriageway.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get round him, so I had to stop. He jumped out of his car, started running up to the car, and I got my missus and kids in the car, young kids.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, hang on, I've got to protect my kids first things first, and the missus, So he comes banging on the window. So I get out of the car. And he starts saying, why did you peep your horn and all this? So I said, well, he cut me up on the roundabout. He says, I'll have you and all this, you know. So we exchanged a few words. And then my wife got out at the time, and she said, come on, pack it into this bloke, like, you know, and his missus got out the car. Then he in his key ring, he'd got like a Stanley knife blade in his key ring.
What?
So, like a Stanley knife blade hidden in his key ring.
Yeah, nice fella then.
Yeah, very nice, yeah. So he threatened me and he swung at me, so I jumped out the way. And he then went round the other side of the car and started swinging this blade at the missus. So I went round the back of the
hang
car.
on, sorry. So he's swinging a Stanley blade at your wife?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah, go on.
So I goes round to the boot of the car, and I'm a mechanic, and I got some tools in the back of the car, so I got this rather large spanner out. And I thought, well, if he's going to have a go at somebody, he's going to end up with a broken arm or something, at least, so he can't carry it on.
Yeah.
Bit of self-defence, you know.
Oh, dear God.
So I went round to him, I said, Luke, you know, I said, put that knife away, and then we'll leave it. And he kept, like, stabbing the knife towards the missus. So I pushed her out the way and went for him with this spanner.
Oh, dear.
And obviously, we had a bit of a scuffle, and then he legged it back to his car. So I thought, right, I'll go round to the local police station just a mile up the road. So I went to the police station, reported it, and he'd been on his phone and reported it. Yeah?
He got in first.
Yeah, so I goes into the police station, and they said, oh, we already know about this. Of course, next thing, they cuffed me and put me inside the police, inside a cell. So eventually, they interviewed me. I told them what had gone on, and so they went and made further enquiries. Then I was let go then, and then a few weeks later, they said, can you come to the police station? So I said, yeah, no problem. So I went down, and at the time, it was a sergeant. He said to me, basically, we're going to have to give you a police caution for this. I'm like, well, why should I accept a caution? He says, well, if you're not, we're going to end up going to court with you. I thought, oh, crimes, I could do without this, you know.
Yeah.
So I said, OK, I'll accept a caution. Now, the police officer then turned round to me and said, look, we know what's happened. And he says, you won't do anything like that again, would you? I said, well, no, I'd stay in the car or try to get away. I said, but then again, I said, if somebody's threatening my wife and the kids are in the car, I said, you're going to do something about it. So he said, off the record, yeah, he'd have done the same, you know. Well, a few weeks passed, and I heard in the end, they rang me up and told me that they paid him a visit, this guy. He found the key ring with the keys on, and it had got a flick-out Stanley knife blade on it.
Yeah.
So what he did, he arrested him and found out that he got a 6-month jail sentence for doing what he'd done.
Yes.
You know, and then I had my caution rescinded.
Well done.
You know what I
It
mean?
worked, Nigel. Listen, well done. It worked out in the end. What? Heaven knows what our next guest is going to think hearing that. Aren't there just some real utter lunatics out there? Why would anybody have a flick knife keyring, a Stanley knife in a keyring? Last 35 minutes of the show. Let's can we uplift it a little? We really need something uplifting. We want to hear your stories about lost and found. And I tell you what, for the last 35 minutes of the show, if you've just got some good news that you want to share, let's have some good. We'll still take the road rage calls, but I feel we're kind of here we go. Here's a Californian thing. We're creating negative energy. Let's see if we can create a ball of light before the end of the show. Yeah, I actually said those words out loud.
Darlaston,
Edgbaston,
Erdington,
Paisley, Gornal Wood. Have your say across the West Midlands.
BBC WM 95.6.
Now, young women in the UK are fatter than anywhere else in Western Europe. Hooray, something to celebrate. Now, hang on a second. With 1 in 12 being clinically obese, according to a new study. I don't get this clinically obese thing, because I've seen people who've been labelled as obese, and you think, well, they're not. That's not what I would label as obese. The study shows that obesity in men is growing too, and earlier this week it was suggested that obese people should be given free membership to slimming clubs. So, a couple of questions. Why are we fat, and does it really matter? We can speak now to Katie Lowe. She lost 10 stone in weight and now writes a popular blog, Fat Girl PhD. Morning, Katie.
Good morning.
Katie, why were you so big?
Oh, big question. I'd had a fall in 2007. I mean, I'd always been a kind of what you'd call a fat girl. But I had a fall in 2007. I was on crutches for 3 or 4 years, and I just, the weight just kind of piled on. Partly, lack of activity, boredom, a combination of things, really.
And did you realise you were getting larger, or did it suddenly just one day you kind of looked at yourself? Oh my goodness!
Well, I didn't realise the extent of it. I think I kind of knew that I was definitely carrying extra weight, but you can't not notice when you're 21 stone.
Yeah.
But I certainly didn't realise quite how bad it had gotten until because I was using crutches at the time, and it was only when I tried to kind of recover and tried to learn to walk again that I really found that I'd put on all this weight, and it made it very, very difficult to move.
And was it difficult to lose the weight? And did you want to lose the weight, or were you kind of happy with the way you were?
Well, I've never kind of lacked confidence, but I think the lack of mobility and the issues I was having around it certainly made me, unhappy in that position. But losing weight took probably 3 years, and it's been a slow journey, and it's been difficult at times, but at the same time, the benefits for me have been pretty amazing. I can now, I run, I cycle, I do all sorts of cool things. However...
Well, hang on. When did running become cool? You've got that one wrong, Katie.
Well, I'm regretting it right now. I've got a very small foot from a run last week. But anyway, the thing I would say is that I would still classify on the BMI scale as obese. So, I think it's the way that they classify these things is somewhat misleading.
Yeah, I don't get this BMI scale because, as I said, I've seen people who are classified as obese, and you think, well, that's not what I would consider to be obese.
No, there are a huge number of flaws with the BMI scale. It's one measurement of many that people should be using to measure kind of overall health. I think in the 80s it was arbitrarily changed so that I think they made millions of people obese overnight just by changing the measurement slightly in a way that wasn't necessarily more accurate. And it's not a great, it doesn't apply to a lot of very fit people who are, who carry a lot of muscle like me, and I've met bodybuilders who would be considered obese, but they're obviously ridiculously fit. It's just one way of kind of measuring overall health.
Why do you think, and this survey says that the young women in the UK are fatter than anywhere else in Western Europe. Why is that, do you think?
I do think, I think our sort of what you might call a food landscape is very, very kind of, it's not a great place to learn how to deal with food and how to kind of, eat a healthy, balanced diet. We live in a kind of culture where it's totally acceptable to eat kind of junk food all the time for every meal. People cook less. You can have that relationship with food.
Okay, we're losing you a bit. If you've moved, go back to where you were if you can, as we've lost you a little bit. Should we be worried, Katie? Because there's all this, you've got to lose weight. Obviously it's healthier to be a little bit slimmer, but should we be that bothered if people are big? Shouldn't we just let them get on being big? Katie? We've lost... I knew it was going to happen. We lost Katie. Never mind. But isn't that part of the thing? If people are big and they're kind of all right being big... the health benefits to one side. Shouldn't we just let them, be big? I don't know about this. There was this story in the week, wasn't it, about Weight Watchers and fat people should be... By the way, but there's nothing wrong with the word fat. If people are fat, they're fat. I don't think that's a particularly offensive term to use. Some people take great offence. Oh, don't call people fat. Oh, hang on, if you're fat, you're fat. There's no offence meant. But yes, there was talk of... giving fat people free access to Weight Watchers. I don't know if it's as simple as that, really. And it's kind of similar. Am I going to say it? I'm going to say it. It's kind of similar to giving smokers e-cigarettes. I'm never talking about how bad e-cigarettes are again and how they corrupt our youth and they normalise smoking, and that the people who smoke, the vapists, are smug, arrogant fools, and that they are addicted to nicotine and paying the man money. I'm never saying that ever again on the radio. No, I'm not doing it. I'm never saying it again on the radio, because the amount of abuse I got from those people on Twitter, you wouldn't believe it. It was like road rage on Twitter. Morning, John.
Morning, Iain.
I got a lot of abuse in the week from vapists, people who smoke e-cigarettes. What a thoroughly unpleasant bunch a lot of them are.
Well, all entitled to an opinion, I suppose.
We're all entitled to an opinion. John, what have you got for me?
Well, it was just on the subject of road rage, that's
go on.
all.
Yeah.
Road rage has a tendency to be a male preserve. If that's the case, does it normally happen when they're in a jam?
Sorry?
You've got to think about that one. If you don't know the answer, ring Les Ross up and he'll explain the joke to you.
Is it a rude joke?
On the contrary, jam is a preserve.
Oh, hey, I see. No, it's a clever joke.
A clever joke. So Les Ross will explain it.
Now, I'm going to phone Les Ross up immediately after this show and berate him for allowing such behaviour on here. 03453 009956 is the telephone number. We've got a text. I'm suspicious of this text. I don't like texts at the best of times, particularly not this one. Iain, you're being spoilt today. The best producers and the ultimate professional newsreader. From Martin the Postie. Well, he can't be... Yes, Nicole is a fantastic newsreader when she gets the words right. But producer Joe and Bernie, I mean, I have worked with... Let me just count the producers I've worked with in my radio career. 1, 2... I've worked with about 15. And I'd certainly say they were in the top 20 of producers I've worked with. Definitely. 03453 009956 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. I'm surprised. What's your beef? What's your beef, Joe? I think it's today, isn't it? Tell me about it. Oh, I'm surprised by the number of hideous road rage stories that we've been getting. Absolutely horrible. So let's run through the list of weaponry that's been involved, shall we? We've had a screwdriver pulled on someone. We've had a couple of incidents of hammers. We've had a satellite dish used as a shield. Now, while I abhor that, you've also kind of got to respect that a little bit. That's sort of a genius thing, isn't it? And we've had a Stanley knife in a key ring. What kind of fruitcakes are these people? At any point would you think, do you know what? That person cut me up, yeah? Or that person has slowed down my journey by 15 seconds. I'm going to threaten them with murder. That's what I'm going to do. That'll put them in their place. I'm going to say that I'm going to kill them. Imagine doing that. 30 minutes of the show. If you want to give us a call with your road rage stories, you're more than welcome to 03453 009956. I'll tell you what we've not had, and I'd love to have this. I won't judge you. I'd love to have this. If you have been the perpetrator of road rage, you're the person that got really angry and was effing and jeffing and was flashing your lights and was swearing and was the first to get out of the vehicle. Maybe, this is kind of what I think, maybe these people don't recognise that they're doing anything wrong. That in their head, in their world, what they're doing, they're getting out of the car. They're brandishing a hammer and a screwdriver. That seems quite normal to them. That seems perfectly acceptable to them. 03453 009956 is the telephone number. And the other thing, let's try and lighten the show a little. It's been a very angry, negative show today. I don't know why. There's something in the air. There's a tension in the air. But there's a great story. The California man has returned a bag containing $125,000. What's that in real money? It's about 90 grand. After he saw it fall out of the back of a security van in the city of Fresno. Joe Cornell, who's 52, says, everything was going through my mind, the good devil, bad devil thing. He returned the cash. He got a $5,000 reward. That's a pretty tasty reward. Do you know what? That kind of makes it worthwhile. Have you ever lost your wallet or your purse or your handbag or your Kindle or something like that, and it's been returned? Somehow someone has managed to track you down. It happened to me in Sweden. Some Swedes who I think were swingers. I think they were swingers. They were there was a real tension in their place when I went round to pick up my wallet. But they did it. And I have returned other people's wallets. Have you ever done it? Or have you lost a wallet and there was a few quid in there, you got the wallet back, but there was no money? 03453 009956. And here's the thing, does this ever happen? Because if you find a wallet and you can't find the person, you're supposed to take it to the police station, aren't you? And I think that after 6 months, if no one has claimed that wallet, is it 6 weeks or 6 months? If no one's claimed that wallet, then you get to keep it and the money and everything. Has that ever actually happened?
Hear live 2020 cricket on FM and online. Leicestershire Foxes against the Birmingham Bears this Sunday afternoon from 2:30.
The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
BBC WM 95.6.
Lorna's in Chelsea Wood. Morning, Lorna.
Good morning.
Lorna, what's happened?
Well, I was at the town centre and this lady got into a taxi and she left a bag. And I stood there, watched it for a while, and I took it to the security guard.
Yeah.
And then he took my name and says if they want to contact me, they would. And then they called me and said that the lady was ever so grateful because there was a lot of money in it. I didn't look in the bag, or, you know.
Yeah.
And the lady sent me £5 in the post.
Were you... I'm going to say something that sounds really cold. Were you happy with £5 or a little bit disappointed?
Well, I was happy with £5 because on another occasion I was in the little car park, and this lady got out of her car with her husband, and she after they went, I saw this purse on the floor, and then the husband came back to get the carrier bags out of the car, and I said to him, have you lost the purse? He goes, no, my wife carries that and she's very careful. And I thought, right, I'll go inside the shop and see who has got to pay for their stuff. And I waited for nearly 45 minutes by the tills, and lo and behold, it was the same lady.
Wow.
She was at the till and she was panicking because she couldn't find her money. And I went up to her and I said, have you lost the purse? And she said, yes. So what's in it? She said, she told me what was it, £80.
Yeah.
And also I asked her to describe some of the stuff, and she said, yes, there was some curtain measurements inside. So I gave it to her. And, you know, she was in so much shock, she didn't even say thank you.
Well,
so I walked to the car park to get in my car, and then the husband come running after me and gave me £5.
Oh, well, there you... Hang on, she didn't even say thank you?
She was in shock.
Was she in shock or was she rude?
I think she was in shock.
Okay, let's give her the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, she was panicking because she didn't have her purse to pay for the shopping.
Lorna, you waited 45 minutes. That's quite an incredible, selfless act to do.
Because I'm a Christian, you see.
Oh, there you go.
Yes,
Lorna...
I would not deny Christ.
Here we go. Okay, I did a selfless Christian act this week, right?
Yeah.
In another life, I work very early in the morning, okay? And at 5:15, I was going into a shop to buy some coffee, right?
Yeah.
Now, the shop was shut for a little bit because the gentleman who runs the shop, he was on the toilet.
Oh.
I know, I'm sorry, but it's part of the story. So I was stood outside the shop, 5:15 in the morning. This young lad comes up to me and he says, it's my birthday today, you got any suggestions of what I should do? I said, how old are you? He said, 22. I said, oh, man, you're 22. I'm 40. I remember being 22. Go and have a good time. Hang out with your friends. Go and have a nice meal. You treat yourself. He said, all right, I'll do that. Thank you very much. We're just making conversation, okay?
Yeah.
And then we went in. This is how selfless I am, and this is a Christian act. We went into the shop. I was paying for my coffee. Mm-hmm. He came up to the counter with 2 bottles of beer, and I went, I'm getting those. He said, what? I'm paying for those 2 bottles of beer. I bought a strange young boy 2 bottles of beer at 5:15 in the morning. Yeah.
Oh.
That's a Christian act, isn't it?
No, I wouldn't do that.
Oh, really?
I don't drink alcohol anyway.
No, I don't drink alcohol. But I thought he's 22, it's his birthday. What a great way to start the day. A stranger says, go on, I'll pay for your beer.
Oh, I wouldn't do that.
Oh, Lorna. Thank you very much. I genuinely think... I'm being accused of being tight here. I'm not at all. It was his 22nd birthday. It was 5:15. He was a little bit, how can I describe it, frazzled, I think. He had a couple of beers, and I went, I'll get those. Sorry, you'll do what? I'll go on, I'll pay for those beers. I just thought I would have loved somebody to have done that to me at the age of 22. Paid for my beer, mainly because I was really, really skint at the age of 22. That's quite a nice... That's quite a nice thing to do, isn't it, Susan? That's a Christian act, buying a young boy beer at 5:15 in the morning. Oh.
Well, I don't know.
Really?
How old was he? 22?
He was 22, he claims.
Oh, well, yes, all right. We'll let you off with that.
I wouldn't do it for 15. I'm not one of those people. When you go into the shop, excuse me, mate, can you get some beer and some fags? I would never say no to that, now that I work for the BBC. But he was 22. It was his birthday. Have a couple of beers. Enjoy yourself.
Bit too early in the morning for me, though, Ian.
Yeah, yes, I know. I can appreciate that. What have you called in for?
Well, I can give you 2 stories. One about a lady, similar to your last caller's story. It was quite a few years ago. I was in a supermarket and I was just packing my things at the shelf like you do. And there was a purse on the side and it's got quite a lot of money in it.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously I knew somebody had left it there and done the shopping and walked off. So I stayed there myself because I I knew that immediately when I saw someone coming in the shop, I would know straight away who it was, who'd lost the purse. And I think it was probably about 15 minutes. A lady came in absolutely worried and panic-stricken, and she came looking along the shelf, and I just said to her, "What have you lost?" And she said, "I've lost my purse." She got a young girl with her, about 10, and I said, "Is this it?" And I think she was so relieved. She just grabbed it out of my hand and got her daughter and walked off.
Oh. They didn't say thank you?
No, but I quite understand why. Because
Really? Because my natural instinct, if anybody does anything vaguely nice to me, is I say I probably say thank you too much. And if someone gave me my wallet, I'd be thank you, sir. Here, let me have a look. I've only got £10. Would you take that?
I wouldn't have taken anything
Really?
off her anyway, and because it was quite obvious she hadn't got a lot of money anyway. And I was just pleased that she got it back, because I think it would have been absolutely devastating had she not got the purse back, to be honest with you. So, no, I didn't mind. I understood. I think she was just full of relief. She probably forgot her manners for a while, let's just say. Because I actually do think I do put great store by good manners, but I understood that. But on the other side of it, we did, it was my husband, we'd been to the bank and there was quite a bit of money in his wallet, and we were in the car park at Sutton Coldfield, and I don't know how it happened, but we got home and I wanted some information that was in his wallet and we couldn't find it. And we actually were in a little bit of a panic, because we were in the throes of transferring money and we got the money in the wallet. It was a few years ago. We phoned up the security at the car parks at Sutton Coldfield, and some very, very nice person had handed it in. So we just jumped in the car and we got it all back, the money,
Fantastic.
card, everything. So there are some very honest people.
There are some, Susan, thank you. There are some good people out there. Cliff's in Tipton. Morning, Cliff.
Good morning.
I believe
Ian.
you've called in to congratulate me on my Christian gesture.
Well, I have, and also here to question the shop selling alcohol at 5:15 in the morning.
Is there a law against something like that?
Well, in our local shop, they have a sign up saying no alcohol served before 8 a.m.
But when's the cut-off point for it? Maybe the cut-off point is 6 o'clock in the morning. That's when they have to stop selling it, and then they can't sell it again before 8 a.m.
Well, they would have a job selling it at 6 a.m. in the morning, because the shop doesn't open until 8.
Oh, well, hang on a minute. So there's a sign saying no alcohol sold before 8 a.m, but they don't open until 8 a.m?
Yeah, it's either 8 a.m. or 10 a.m.
Right.
Because it's to stop drunks collecting, I suppose, really, you know.
Yeah.
But no, congratulations on your Christian act. I'll be 65 in 3 years' time, so I shall wait outside in the mailbox for you.
You do it. And it is. What's more Christian than giving someone alcohol? Seriously, that's what Jesus did, didn't he? He's at a wedding, there's no alcohol, he gives them alcohol. It's a wonderfully generous Christian act.
It reminds me of that Marx Brothers film, and somebody comes up to, I think it's Harpo, the one who doesn't talk.
Yeah.
And he says, "Hey, mate," he says, "have you got the price of a cup of coffee?" And from under his overcoat, he whips out a steaming cup of coffee.
Yep.
But can I just mention road rage?
No, hang on 1 second, Cliff.
Yes.
I've not seen a Marx Brothers film for years. I think it's going to be Marx Brothers weekend at my house now you've mentioned that. Some of those films are fantastic.
I've got them all except for the one with Marilyn Monroe, which wasn't too good.
The later ones are a bit rubbish. What's the one where there's a whole scene where they're pretending they're in front of a mirror, but it's not a mirror, it's just a doorway?
Oh, that would be, yes.
It's not from
and
Soup to
they're all
Nuts.
hopping about and they all look very similar.
Yeah,
That was one of their earlier ones for Paramount.
Can't think. And anyone with Zeppo in isn't worth watching.
Yeah. Road rage.
Yes, sir.
When I used to cycle a lot, I was cycling down through Carter's Green in West Bromwich.
Oh, yeah.
And I was waiting to turn right, so I went over into the middle of the road, and this car with two young yobs in it came close up to me. The driver shoved his arm out and he tried to push me over.
Wow.
Into the into the traffic which was coming up.
Oh, man.
I got off in my bike. I crossed over the road and I followed them. God knows how I kept it up because they were doing about 35, and I chased them onto a factory estate.
Yeah.
And I was going to lamp them.
Oh dear.
Because they could have caused a very serious accident, and I might not be talking to you now, which some people might say would be an advantage.
I know, swings and roundabouts. Did you? I'm assuming you didn't catch up with them.
I lost them on an estate going down towards Great Bridge on the left-hand side, but if I'd have caught them, well, God help them, that's all I can say.
Punch them in the face. In some ways, Cliff, it's good that you didn't. We don't condone violence here. We'll have none of that. Thank you very much. Tony, stay there. I'll come to you after the travel. 03453 009956. It's the last 15 minutes of the show this morning. So what have we got to talk about? Well, we're talking about road rage. We're hearing some incredible stories of fruitcakes and nut jobs out there. And we're also asking, on the back of this story of this guy who found a bag containing $125,000. He handed it in. What lost and found stories have you got? Right now it's 11:45. It's BBC WM 95.6. Let's get the travel news now. Here's Liz Saul.
Thank you, Iain. There's still quite a bit of congestion with the closure of the A457 around Dudley Port between the A461 and Cletton Street. Emergency repairs continue around there. You're having to follow a local diversion. And it's the same story in Dudley. Hollyhall Road remains shut both ways for emergency repairs between Norfolk Road and Suffolk Road. Restrictions continue on Tiverton Road in Selly Oak because of a sewer which has collapsed at the Bristol Road turning. Through Selly Oak on the A38 is a bit busy. It's a bit heavy going on Hagley Road at the Bearwood Road junction in Birmingham. Not helped by the roadworks around there. You've got lane restrictions in place. It started to snarl up in Dudley around the Burnt Tree traffic lights. If you are planning to go into the centre of Birmingham today, incidentally, around the A41, Soho Road, routes through Handsworth, there's some road closures in place in and around there from about 1 o'clock this afternoon. It's because of a demonstration going on around the city centre. For a couple of hours, you'll find restrictions in place. If you can update us, call BBC WM 95.6 travel 08453 002288.
Ian Lee
On BBC WM
95.6. The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
Here until 12 o'clock, then Noreen Khan takes over. So if you want to give me a call, I would suggest you do it now. 03453 009956. Tony's in Yardley. Morning, Tony. Oh, no, you're there. Sorry, Tony. Hello.
Yeah.
What you got for us?
Okay, well, it's about the lost and found. First of all, on two occasions, I found the mobile phones and gone through the directory and, made a call, found out where they lived, took them back. And the look on the people's faces when you give them back is it's worth more than money. You know what I mean? You can't put a price on it.
You're right. And while a little cheeky reward is always nice, it is the satisfaction, isn't it, of knowing you've actually done something quite decent.
Yeah, well, obviously I've got a vested interest in this because I lost my phone on Wednesday night in King's Heath.
Oh.
And obviously I'd be grateful to get it back, and I wouldn't mind paying towards a cash sum.
I've lost my phone in the past, and now because phones are so much more valuable these days because they've got pictures and videos and everything in it. I've never had a phone returned. Yeah. I've never had a phone returned, and I even sent a text to it saying, "Look, I'll get if you give me this phone back, no questions asked, I'll give you 200 quid." That's how much it meant to me, and nothing, absolutely nothing.
Yeah, well, anyway, just in case anybody's listening might have a conscience or whatever, or they find it, obviously I'd pay 50 quid to get it back. It's a Nokia Lumia. Anyway, that's the mobile phone. But the other thing, you know about losing weight and stuff.
Yes.
There's a association that operates every Saturday in Cannon Hill Park.
Oh, yeah.
It's called the Park Run, right? What? And basically what happens is it's knocking up to about 500 people now turn up every Saturday.
What, and go running?
And just running or jogging or walking.
I hate running. Every now and then, every 6 or 8 months, Tony, I'll feel a bit unfit and a bit flabby, and I think, right, I'm going to sort this out. I'm going to go running, and I'll go running 3 times. I hate it.
You don't have to run. You just have to be there. Just go around. The atmosphere is absolutely fantastic, and the effect on your life is unbelievable. It's called the Park Run. You just go on the website, look up Park Run. Okay. And you meet at the bandstand and you start at 9 o'clock. Just 2 laps to the park and go home.
Tony, thank you very much indeed. For those who are hard of hearing, producer Joe, he said running jogging or walking. He did not say dogging. I just had that. I know. I just had that in my ear. Producer Joe, can you believe that, Noreen? This is what I'm having to work with. It's a miracle we've even got through nearly 3 hours of radio when I'm dealing with people like that.
Incredible.
How are you this morning? You all right?
I'm very well, thanks.
Are you feeling kind of? We're on this show. We're all a bit tired and lethargic today. I don't know why.
I'm not surprised. You've had almost like a 3-hour speech show.
Imagine working for 3 hours. It really is. Absolutely exhausting, guys.
It is. You've had a good workout then, haven't you?
A very good workout.
Hey, if it's any consolation, I'm not a gym person.
Really?
No.
Do you get that thing, though, where you feel a bit guilty, maybe like after a birthday or something, you think, I should go and do something?
But I get over it really quickly.
Really?
Yeah.
I do. I go and do the jogging, and I'll do it 3 nights in a week, and I just say, forget this.
And how far do you jog and how long for?
I jog for up the street. You don't know where I live, so it's meaningless trying to describe it to you. About like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, is that good?
That's really good. I mean, 25 minutes is better than I've ever done.
Yeah, there you go, you see. What's on your show today? What have you got?
Actually, we're going to talk some about free park gyms a bit later on in the show.
Yes.
But we're initially going to talk about soaps. Are you a soap man?
No.
I mean, you don't watch any soaps?
I wash. I don't. I used to be obsessed with Coronation Street.
Oh,
I used to Sky
We're going to be
Plus it.
talking about Coronation Street, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because there's been a really big storyline where Tina McIntyre has been killed.
Aye.
Well, she's going to die in the next couple of days.
Oh,
so
that's sad.
But the guy that killed her, he's kind of worried that he's going to get a bit of backlash.
Oh, in real life?
Because people take soaps really seriously.
Yeah, they do, don't they? People are, as we discovered this morning, are really, really weird. They can't see that it's just an actor saying somebody else's words.
But some people take it really seriously.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to ask as well, do people still watch Aussie soaps? Because I don't. Neighbours and Home and Away.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that funny? Because when I was... you're significantly younger than me, but when I was growing up, Neighbours was like the big thing. To the point where you'd watch it at lunch... You'd bunk off school and go and watch it at lunchtime. And then you'd watch it in the evening as well. Again.
Are they the days of Kylie Minogue and Jason Donovan?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we want to know, do people still watch Aussie soaps? Because producer Emma really loves them. I haven't seen them for about 15 years.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're still going.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff. Anything else, or is that your lot?
A whole load of stuff, actually, but I'll tell you more about it after 12.
Noreen, nice to see you. Thank you very much indeed. 03453 00 9956 if you want to call Noreen. You can also use that number to give me a call for the last 15 minutes of the show. I did used to be obsessed with Coronation Street, and I used to Sky Plus it. And I remember coming back from a holiday, and I had 9 episodes of Coronation Street to watch, and I watched them all in one day. So what's that? That's an hour and a half of Corrie. Watched them all in one day, and then I went to my local Sainsbury's. Right, stood in front of me. 9 episodes is, yeah, thanks. Well, hang on a minute. You're right. How many episodes? Hang on. 3 hours. All right, so I watched 3 hours. 3 hours of Coronation Street. Right, so I'm kind of... It's like I'm tripping on Coronation Street. I'm drunk on Weatherfield. And then I went to my local Sainsbury's. Stood in front of me was Dev. Dev was stood in front of me, and it blew my mind. It was the freakiest thing. It was like I'd gone through the looking glass, dear listener, and entered the world of Coronation Street. Now, though, I don't watch any of that. I don't watch any of that nonsense. I don't really watch... Here's the thing I never thought I'd say. I don't really watch TV. I watched some TV yesterday. I was in a hotel. I watched some TV. I watched a bit of House, which I'd never seen before, and I watched Flog It, which I quite like. But TV's really... It's kind of quite dull, isn't it, television? There's very little that captures my imagination. 03453 00 9956.
The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
BBC WM
95.6.
The last few minutes of the show, if you want to give us a call about lost and found. I had a friend who lost a wallet, and there was about 120 quid in it. And this was years ago. This was when 120 quid was money. And he got the phone call saying, hey, we've got your wallet. Oh, oh, great. Well, why don't you meet us at this pub and we'll hand over the wallet and... oh, that's brilliant. That's superb. He received the wallet. The cash had gone. Now, of course, you can't say to the person that's handed the wallet, have you nicked my money? Did you nick my... Because that's the suspicion, because they may have found it completely free of moolah. So you can't really... They've made the effort to get in touch, but... you'd be suspicious, wouldn't you? 03453 009956. Who's this from? Jane says, she sent me a text. Jane says, hiya. I dropped my purse but didn't know it when getting my shopping out of the car. When I got up the next day, my purse was in the porch, all muddy but intact. Later that day, when the post came with a parcel, he said, did you get your purse this morning? He had popped it in the letterbox the day before and I hadn't noticed until I opened the door the following morning. Ladies and gentlemen, the honesty of some of the post office workers is incredible. Some of the dishonesty is not so great either. It is amazing, though. This would be great, and we haven't got much time now, so maybe we won't get someone. But somebody... Have you ever been one of those people that's taken the wallet to the police station? Is it 6 weeks or 6 months before you get to keep the wallet? How does that work? I think it may even be 6 weeks. You go to the police station. Hello, yes, I just found this wallet out in the street. Oh, yeah, okay. And they take your details, and after 6 weeks, if it's not been claimed, you get to keep all of the stuff. Is that right? Is that how it works? Has anyone ever had that? Have you ever had that? I don't know if that works. And also, have you ever been to a lost and found department? Man alive, I don't know if they have it now, but the lost and found department at King's Cross Station used to be incredible. It used to be amazing. I would suspect in the days of cutbacks and cost cutting, they've got rid of it now, and it's all virtual. It's all kind of stored in a virtual place. But it was you used to be able to get everything in there. Prosthetic legs. Suitcases that have been left behind. You do have to wonder, how on earth could somebody lose a prosthetic leg? May, have you ever lost a prosthetic leg?
No, I've got a hip replacement, though, and it's driving me mad.
Oh, is it really? Well, you go gentle with it. May, what have you got for us?
I found a necklace once and took it to the local police station, and they said, I think it was 2 months ago I went back, and it hadn't been claimed, so I was allowed to keep it.
You got to keep it? Mm. It's kind of a weird rule, isn't it? Really? Because you would have thought that maybe they would have, I don't know, sold it or given or done something constructive with it.
Perhaps they work on finders keepers after a certain degree.
Yeah, I wonder how many people do actually. We always hear lots of stories of people being honest. I wonder how honest people are, though. I do suspect that there was a great story in the paper last week, May, talking about leaving things in the back of cabs and in places like that. A mum and her young daughter, 2-year-old daughter, are in the back of a cab. They get out, the cab drops them off, they get out, they drive off, the cab drives off. So a new person gets into the back of the cab and says to the driver, driver, you do know there's a young child in this car. The mum had left the 2-year-old in the back of a car.
Oh, my God.
Isn't that incredible? How could you forget your kids?
I couldn't forget mine.
Yeah, I bet, May, thank you. How could you forget your kids? Although, new parents, you have that fear, don't you, when you take the baby shopping for the first few times, or when they start going in a buggy. There is that fear that you're going to forget them and you're going to leave them behind. Oh, man. Where do they put the baby? Do they have the baby? Oh, no, the baby's at home. 03453 009956. I should just say as well, by the way, you can send me emails during the week. If you have something that you think might be a good story, or you want to talk about something we've been talking about on the show, then you can send me a cheeky little email. Not too cheeky, for goodness sakes. I have had to block a couple of people on the email for sending what can only be described as abuse. Mr. Collins, you're one of them. He keeps calling me babe. If you call me babe in an email and you're a Mr. somebody, there's a good chance I'm probably going to block you. So don't send me abusive, offensive stuff. Send me nice stuff, you know? But if you've got an idea for the show or bits and pieces that you think we should be talking about, do send me an email. They all get read. I try and reply to them all. It's not always possible. But Iain.lee at bbc.co.uk, IAIN.LEE at bbc.co.uk is the email if you want to do that. I'm going to end with Russell's text again. This is kind of how we started, right? Listen to this text. We're talking about housework and how, let's be honest, girls kind of enjoy the housework perhaps more than they let on. You do, don't you? You do. Of course you do. It's satisfying. It's zen. It's your equivalent of sitting there and meditating. You forget your mindfulness, have a little bit of ironingness. Russell sent in the text. And I'd like to think that Russell was joking, but there's just something about the name Russell that says, if not necessarily misogynist, sexist. It's kind of a sexist name, isn't it, Russell? I don't know how we get that. Russell sent me in this text right at the top of the show. And I think it will be important to end the show on this and to remind you the kind of people that we're broadcasting to. Here we go. Women are put on this planet to do housework. End of. Women are inferior to us men in every respect. Can you think of anything a woman can do better than men other than moan and nag? Yeah, what do you reckon? Listen, I don't condone those words. Those are not the opinions of, certainly not the opinion of the 21st century BBC. Maybe 1980s BBC went along with it a little bit. Thank you very much for all of your texts and your emails. Don't forget, if you want to send an email during the week, you're more than welcome to ian.lee@bbc.co.uk. And now it's, according to Martin the Postie, we're about to get the news read by the ultimate professional newsreader. Yeah? You know what I'm saying, baby?
The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
BBC WM 95.6.
It's midday. Let's get the latest news now. Here's Nicole Pullman.
The father of a 6-year-old British boy trapped in Syria has asked the government to help him escape the